You're gonna be taking splinters out of your fat asses all night long because you got fat asses. The only chance you have no chance. If you had a chance, is you could run lickety split. But you can't run because you're fat asses. Well, Ric Flair, you know what? I'm not a normal looking athlete myself. You know what I'm talking about? I've been in the gyms a lot. It's a privilege and an honor to walk out with Ole Anderson, Lex Luger, and the Arm tomorrow night.
I am not a happy camper. What is Bully Ray's motivation? No, I love you. I know he loves sugar. But I checked my pocket. I don't have no donuts. I don't have no cheeseburger. I know you love sugar, but I ain't got none.
To be the man, you gotta beat the man. And I'm saying, woo, right here in Nashville, Tennessee, pal. I'm the man.
Look at a match for the total package like Luger and Super Brawl. Super Saturday? What is it? I don't know what it's called. What is it called?
Super Brawl Saturday.
Super Brawl Saturday?
You don't lose faith in winners. And Ric Flair, day in and day out, every day of his life, just keeps winning and winning and winning.
Ric Flair! New York City, Ric Flair! You're gonna find out what hard is all about! I do exactly what I want to do. You say I'm insane. I say thank you very much.
Make a good lucha.
I hate God! Hit the deck! Yes! We love you, Scott Steiner!
Today, woo, I've got the star and profile like never before.
You guys talk about being students of the game. I am the game, JR.
The fourth prestigious King of the Ring, Stone Cold Steve Austin, an incredible victory.
The first thing I want to be done is to get that piece of crap out of my ring. Don't just get him out of the ring, get him out of the WWF. Because I've proved, son, without a shadow of a doubt, you ain't got what it takes anymore. You sit there and you thump your Bible and you say your prayers, and it didn't get you anywhere. Talk about your Psalms, talk about John 3:16. Austin 3:16 says I just whipped your ass.
Come on, that's not necessary.
All he's got to do is go buy him a cheap bottle of Thunderbird and try to dig back some of that courage he had in his prime. As the King of the Ring, I'm serving notice to every one of the WWF superstars. I don't give a damn what they are. They're all on the list, and that's Stone Cold's list, and I'm fixing to start running through all of them. As far as this championship match is considered, son, I don't give a damn if it's Davey Boy Smith or Shawn Michaels. Steve Austin's time has come. And when I get the shot, you're looking at the next WWF champion, and that's the bottom line, because Stone Cold said so.
Obviously anything but humble. The fourth prestigious King of the Ring, Stone Cold Steve Austin.
25 years ago today, Smark.
That's right. Do you feel old yet? Because I do.
I do. 1996 would have been that date, obviously, June 23rd, 1996. And it's also my sister's birthday today. So happy birthday, Tracy. There you go.
Ah, very nice. I've been 5 years old at the time, so I'm an old man now. Sad times. Also, I don't remember what year, but this was also the same time. It's also the same day, a couple of years back, where Kanan matched for the first time.
Ah. I would
Lost that. I think it was 2003. He lost that match to Triple H, had to take the mask off. Bad times.
don't remember a lot of 96. I was 21.
Ooh, yeah.
Need I say any more?
I don't remember much at 21 either, so I get you.
Need I say more? I was 21 years old, so yeah, I don't remember much of 96. There was a few years there in the 90s I actually just didn't watch very much wrestling and took a little break. Kind of picked it back up, I guess, when I got my first apartment is where I picked it up. So a couple of years later. I was about 23 when I got my first apartment, so yeah, about then.
Yeah, it seems like that happens with a lot of people where they just need a break and they drop off for a little while and they cut back later.
Well, I dropped off to drink. Party, drink, party, work, party, drink, all that. I did all that while I was 21. Fun stuff, fun times. But yeah, don't remember much of 96 at all. But wow, these headphones are something else, man. I got a new pair of headphones for Father's Day, everybody. New pair of Skull Candy, and that shit was loud. And my mic is booming in my ear. It's pretty good. I'm pretty happy with these damn things. I'm wondering if my gain is too high, but it's not. So, all right. There we go. I guess, but yeah, so we go from that amazing, iconic Smark promo from 25 years ago from Stone Cold to now they're just fighting over the crown as a prop.
Pretty much, yep. That's about it.
I mean, literally, we basically had kind of a King of the Ring last Friday.
The battle for the crown.
That was your King of the Ring, folks. I hope you liked it. Enjoy it. Savor it. Digest
For
it.
this year, at least. But they were talking about it before. There's potential that they're looking into bringing it back, so we might get one for next year. No, Woods has been campaigning really hard for one.
I did hear that. I did hear Woods wanted was one of the guys wanting a new King of the Ring, which, I mean, it wouldn't hurt. I like that little tournament. It's not a bad tournament. So I don't know why they just seems like this year they just said, fuck it. Let's just let these two guys fight it out.
Right.
You don't care. I don't care. We don't care. I mean, no one cared. And the fact that they just let Corbin lose it like that is just odd to me. This kind of shows that they don't see anything in him either, to be honest with you. So
I don't know if I would say that. He seems like he's one of those guys that's like tailor-made for them. He works their style. They've been pushing him forever. I think more than anything, it may be just a chance to retool his character a little bit, but I think he's going to be there for quite a while.
Yeah, but he can't take his shirt off. His stomach smiles at you.
This is true.
Or
frowns. I mean, that's classic heel heat right there, the old smiley stomach.
Oh, sometimes it frowns at you, which is even more scary. It's like, Jesus Christ, how did you do that? But anyway.
Oh, yeah. As he gets older, it's going to become mopier and mopier.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure it will. But, yeah, we thought we would just start with that tonight, talk a little bit about that wonderful, amazing promo from Stone Cold. Just can't believe it's been 25 fucking years, man, since that. And I mean, you see Stone Cold now, and he's like domesticated.
He's domesticated. I mean, that's true. He's got his own little. He's doing his shows. He's got his I think he's got a beer out now. It's one of those things. I gotta say, I'm always genuinely surprised. Not to make this take things on a dark note, but considering some of the things in his past, I'm always really surprised that nobody's really lingers on that. But there you go. He's got a lot of stuff going for him right now, though.
Yeah, I mean, I know what you're saying. He kind of gets a pass for the time he hit Deborah.
He shit out of his wife.
He hit Deborah.
Didn't want to put over Brock. He wanted to get his win back.
Listen, if we judge everyone for like the worst moment of their life, you would not have anyone in your life ever.
This is very true.
I mean, yeah, he fucked up. He's admitted it. He's talked about it. He doesn't sit there and go, well, you know, it was her fault. She came at me. It's not a Cops episode. He admits he fucked up. Yeah, he was a piece of shit back then. And it might still be a piece of shit. I don't know. I don't know the guy. But you cannot judge every person on the worst moments of their life. I just don't feel you can. And no, trust me. I do take things situation by situation. Obviously, I've said that before. But I wouldn't say he gets a pass. I would just simply say, wow. I don't even know how to say it, but I don't give him a pass for it. But like I said, he's spoken about it. I mean, that's like that. I mean, you know, everyone, oh, well, Mike Tyson, you know, went to jail for rape. First of all, I don't think he raped that girl. Secondly, he's talked about it. He did, even on his one-man show, Mike Tyson Undisputed, I believe is the name of it. He said he swears up and down he did not rape that girl. So, you know, but people judge him for the worst moment of his life. That one moment. Oh, AEW has a convicted rapist on. Well, hate to say, but even though he was convicted, doesn't mean he did it. There's plenty of guys in jail that were convicted for innocent shit.
'Tis true.
So, that's all I'm saying. I don't know where you stand on it, but...
Yeah, you get a point.
You're like, I ain't touching that with a 10-foot pole.
That's usually my default when it's like, I really don't feel like arguing.
Oh, shit. Oh, I ain't touching that one, man. Yes, you have a point. Let's move on. Let's just do the plugs and go from there. Okay, Smark, we can do that.
Yes. Speaking of convicted felons, check out our friends.
No, that's not where I was going with that. I was trying to move on, Smark. I was simply trying to keep the show a-going along. Get me in trouble, what you're trying to do. Anyway, let's go ahead and knock these plugs out. Let me get the music kicking here. A little royalty-free 80s rock for you guys. I don't even think I've heard this one, so I hope you enjoy it. Anyway, I want you guys checking out the high marks. That's right. You want to be listening to Cheeseman and Mojo and G-Wiz on Sundays at 8:30 on Mixer.com/Metal Mitt Network. That's right. 2 T's in Mitt. Mixer.com/Metal Mitt Network. Once again, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Sundays. Listen. Or I'll sick Stone Cold on you. Stone Cold Deborah. Stone Cold Deborah. Anyway. Of course, shout out to Bobby Anthem and Bobby Blades. They are on the Inhuman Experience because they are the Inhumans. They are on all the usual podcast platforms. Binge listen. I promise you, you will not be disappointed. If you are, you could have the cover charge back. There you go. Isn't that a good deal? You download.
Sounds like it to me.
You download the free show. If you don't like it, you can get the free money back. Anyway, of course, Unscripted Wrestling Podcast, Eric, Doug, and Daniel over there. Check out those guys. Anywhere you can find good podcasts. And, of course, Blog Talk Radio. Go and check them out over there, too. And, of course, Stephen Milan sharing the show over there reviewing films. Letterboxd.com/Stephen Milan. 2 L's in that last name, Milan. And you guys know where to find us. Stitcher, iHeart, Anchor, YouTube, Spotify, TuneIn, Player FM, Facebook. Say hi to us. Come by here, the chat room. Mixer.com/DirtSheetDudes. Go for it, Smart.
Yeah, that's right. Stop on by. We'll have tea. It'll be lovely. But also what you want to do is Mondays, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You're going to listen to Cheese on Sports with the Cheese Man. Sundays, 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. You'll listen to the Mojo City Machine Guns with Mojo and with Dirt on the Metal Mitt Podcast Network, on the Mixler Machine. And last but never least, be sure to check out our friends at Planet Raconto. It's the Planet Rack on Tour podcast. Bobby Anthem, Papa Dave Sincere, and Yuck Nasty. Season 1 is complete. Season 2 is here. You want to check that out. You want to be subscribed. This is like, you know, how back in the day when you were a kid at school, they gave you the summer reading list for the summer, and it was a bunch of boring, dumb books. Well, you're not going to get that. You're going to get 3 tales that will titillate and stimulate. That's right. Every episode. So you want to be subscribed for that wherever you get your golly gee gosh darn podcast-a-roonies.
I'll go anywhere I can be titillated. I like me some titillation.
Indeed.
All right.
Who does not?
There we go. Man, we're just not having a good time with this moving on thing. So, folks out there, I have been a horrible wrestling fan, bad wrestling podcast host. Slap me, beat me, spank me. Please. Anyway. I've been, obviously, you guys know I've been moving. I have not had time to watch. I haven't seen Hell in a Cell. I've seen bits of Raw and bits of NXT. I've heard a lot. I actually listened to 2 reviews of Hell in a Cell, but that doesn't mean I've seen any of it, so I'm not going to try to go through it. But Smart can give you a little bit of Hell of a Cell rundown. I got a couple of things we can bring up on Raw. Obviously, we'll get into Nikki Cross. We'll get into that and a couple other little things and a couple of things on NXT, and that's about it. After we get through the news, because we actually got a bunch of news, because everything else is going to be very short. Ooh. All right. Smark, you want to get into some news, sir?
Absolutely. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's go ahead and do it. Smark, AEW has announced shows in Pittsburgh. That's right, Smark. Britt Baker is going home because she is, as you say, Smark, the mayor of Pittsburgh.
That's right.
There you go, sir. Don't want to steal your line without giving you credit, but she will be going home, and AEW will be going there. It looks like Friday, August 13th, they'll be there, and it will be for a Rampage. Oh, no. Yeah. Yep. Actually, it looks like they're doing 2 shows there. They're doing a Dynamite and a Rampage. They're going to be there Wednesday for a Dynamite and Friday for a Rampage.
Very nice.
Rampage is just such a bad name for a television show.
It really is. It sounds something like TNA would cook up.
It's very generic, very indie. I mean, first of all, love the video game. Remember the little video game where the like King Kong looking dude just punches the buildings? You remember that game? Mm-hmm. Really? You do? Okay.
Vaguely. There was also another one called like Destroy All Monsters or something, or King of the Monsters, where you could like fight as Godzilla and you could fight as, it was like a kind of off-brand Captain America. It was a fighting game back in the day for like Genesis, so it was really cool.
It might have been, but I'm old, so I'm going to go with Rampage video game that I know. That's all I can do. But, and I mean, you know, there's Rampage Jackson. You know, it's so cheesy. I don't know. Maybe it'll grow on me, but I don't think it will. I really don't think it will. It could, but I doubt it. I just think it's a bad indie, generic name. That's it. But anyway, glad they're going to Pittsburgh, Mark. What do you think about that, sir?
Yeah, it should be fun. It should be interesting. Any shows in front of actual people are going to be. I'm all for that. I'm all excited about that. It's nice to actually have crowds back again.
Yeah, most definitely going to be good to hear the audience, feel the audience, and good for the performers to get back out there and feel people back in the audience and hear cheers and boos, and it'll be nice. It'll be nice. And we probably won't get the what chance in AEW, at least. That's right. They're coming back. CM Punk chance coming back, too. Y'all know it is. You know it. You know it is. Wait a minute. Sacha Baron Corbin is saying R.I.P. Melissa Coates? Genie? The Genie? No. I know she had just had some... I believe she just had a leg amputated. Wait, what? Do you know who she is, Mark?
I didn't until you name dropped or said that she was Genie, so.
It was Sabu, yeah. I believe that's the right one I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, no, that makes sense now. I thought when you said Genie, I thought you meant on like the show I Dream of Genie, so it took me a second to recalibrate, but yeah, I remember her being Sabu's.
Oh my God. Literally, she was posting yesterday on Facebook. What the fuck? Yeah, Super Genie Melissa Coates has passed away at age 50, according to the Cauliflower Alley Club. Trained at Killer Kowalski's school in Massachusetts. Trained at Rick Bassman's UPW Academy. Oh my God, like I had said, I know she was going through some health issues, but oh my God, this is awful. Okay, yeah, right, late last year, she was forced to have an amputation of her leg, and I don't know if she had some complications from that, but according to Cauliflower Alley Club, she has passed away, and that would be just today. I mean, literally, I haven't seen this, so wow, that's awful, man.
Yeah, 9:25 today, so this is when the tweet came out about it.
Oh my God. Awful. Absolutely awful. Well, man, like I said, I literally, she was posting yesterday. She pretty much posts a couple of some older pictures of herself, all like pretty much every day. And just yesterday, she was posting older pictures of herself. My God, man.
Yeah.
Not a good way to start the show. That's awful. Well, I mean, my God, I don't even know where to go from here, but.
Well, I guess we could wallow in this pit of misery for a minute. I saw the China Vice documentary, and I know you haven't seen it because, as you explained, you've been pretty busy this week. But it is rough. Like I posted on Twitter about it. I have a pretty high threshold for some of these like depressing type documentaries, movies, things like that. I can handle quite a bit of it, but that one was pretty hard. Like that was dark. It wasn't even on Dark Side of the Ring because it felt like it was too dark for Dark Side of the Ring, if that tells you kind of how bleak it was.
Ugh. Did they get into her manager being a complete total scumbag?
Yeah, very much so. It's
Good.
like as it progresses, he basically plays a one-upsmanship battle of like just when you think that he can't sink any lower, he sinks a lot lower. And I'll give a little bit of a spoiler. If anybody's interested in watching it, just now would be your time to kind of plug your ears for about a minute or two. But towards the very end, when she passed away, he had a camera crew with him. And he didn't know that she had passed away, but he found her and then they filmed it. So like he has footage of her corpse essentially. And it's basically implied that he has not gotten rid of the footage and would be willing to sell the footage. So it's just like that guy is just, even by wrestling standards, is a extraordinary piece of shit.
Well, anything that exposes that guy for the complete piece of garbage he is, I'm good with it. Because
Sam was saying she saw it too. It was that he was a real piece of shit, and it's like definitely it was rough. I mean, it was a little bit interesting to hear some of her like kind of earlier moments before she had gotten into the business. She was like a bodybuilder. She had tried to do some acting. And then it kind of explained how she transitioned from all of that into getting into wrestling, and talked a little bit about her time in New Japan after WWE. So that was kind of interesting. But like if you stop right there, if you stop right after her time in New Japan, it's not as depressing. Just immediately turn it off after that and everything will be fine.
Wow, man. Jesus. Wow. What a scumbag has that footage? First of all, just bringing a camera crew in and not being like, oh my God, you guys need to get out of here. I'm sorry. That's the first reaction I would have. You stop. You guys need to go. No, he jumps right in with, oh, keep this going. Keep it rolling. Almost like you bring a camera crew to something like that. It's almost like you knew. Maybe he was there before.
Yeah. Well, not only that, but like also I guess her wish was to have her, to be cremated and to have her ashes like scattered in the water, and he did that. But then her mom wanted a little bit of it too. It was like that was the request, was send some my way so that I could have something to just sort of remember my daughter. But he told her that he would, and he didn't. He like scattered most of them in the ocean, kept the rest in a urn. He set up this funeral, and he basically had a bunch of people like pay money for admission to come take pictures next to her bedazzled urn. And it was like just very scummy. Like it was all very and they were this wasn't him necessarily. Well, I'll get into a little bit more of it, but there was a documentary crew. They were filming a documentary in 2015 about her and her attempt to kind of have a resurgence in the public eye, her career resurgence, that kind of a thing. The guy was the director of it. The guy who was filming it was he had a drug problem too. So it became less of trying to help her out and more of him just wanting to do drugs with somebody who he admired, which that became even more depressing. They were talking about how the agent was like, he kept trying to get her to do rehab, but it was basically bullshit because he wanted her to be on Celebrity Rehab. She was on that show. He wanted her to be on the show Intervention. So it was like, we want to get her help, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. But we want to keep her on TV at the same time. So it was just like, it was very just fucking depressing.
Well, yeah, it's like, oh, we want to get her help, but we want to get paid to get her help. You know, let's all profit off of this. That's just awful, man. Absolutely awful, man. Just ridiculous what they've done to what they did to her. And that guy, what a piece of fucking garbage that manager is. Just, doesn't let a tragedy go to waste, obviously.
No, yeah.
Ugh. I mean, it's just hard to believe that people that scummy just exist and aren't just locked up somewhere.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, it was the thing, like, before that, like, the week before that, I had watched The Dark Side of the Ring with Brian Pillman. And, like, that one's pretty rough, but just by comparison, that one's not nearly as bad as, like, just the China thing. It was tough.
Yeah, I'll bet. I might skip that. It's just, but, man. Smark, you had a AEW one up here. A lot more of these stories that we have are mostly WWE. So if you want to jump into that Tony Khan story from Wrestling Observer.
Sure. Yeah, and this is it's also going to be the last week of not having AEW not be on a Wednesday. They're doing the Saturday show this week after like the last 3 were on Friday. So we're going to get back to some form of normalcy, I guess, with that. But anyways, we had been talking about, I think it was last week, of just Tony Khan's dad talking about his sort of not necessarily having had the most faith back in the day of when Tony came to him wanting to start the company. And then we talked about him kind of going into the red because of the video game venture and other things. So Tony Khan, of course, obviously caught wind of this. He wasn't very happy about it. This comes from F4W Online. AEW's Tony Khan apparently wasn't thrilled with the response from an admission that their video game division would result in them running in the red for this year. Speaking to PWI insiders Mike Johnson, your homie, Khan addressed the criticism from last week's Forbes feature when he said they had made an 8-figure investment into video games. He thought it was comical anyone would try to spin a negative out of the news, as their $20 million investment into North Carolina-based Epic Games looks pretty smart now because it's worth a lot more than that. That's his words. Quote, "It's crazy because that's going to be an even bigger investment that's going to pay off huge. I have made this huge 8-figure investment into video games, but we won't see any revenue from that until 2022. That's why it's not going to pay off in 2021 on our books," Khan said. Quote, "We're going to deliver a great game for people next year and are going to make a ton of money. Will be very profitable on all things next year." Khan doubled down that the wrestling division is, quote, "significantly profitable, and in their second year of operations, that is, quote, "pretty amazing for a startup that has had the level of investment that we have had and in the amount of time that it has been going." Khan also put over the actual put over they actually grew during the pandemic and didn't have to lay employees or talent off. He remains optimistic about their future with touring, continued success with pay-per-views, and TV contracts.
Okay. Couple of things. Kind of what I said. It was surprising that a company just off their feet, they usually takes anywhere from 2 to 5 years to see any profit. So it is really cool that they are in the red. And he sounds like he was pissed about it, but then he's like, but yeah, they weren't wrong. What are you pissed about? What are you pissed about? So there's that. And, I don't know how this is going to come off. He needs to stop doing these little podcast shows and these little, he does this. He's on Busted Open all the time. And he's got to stop this.
I can see how you could feel that way. I think this is just sort of, it's the marketing strategy. You're trying to reach a younger audience, so you're trying to appear on platforms that younger people are more likely to access, like podcasts and stuff like that. It's like Triple H kind of does a variation of this too, where he does like the press conferences and he talks to the internet people, the podcasts or the news people, the Meltzers of the world, and the Mike Johnsons of the world or whatever. So
right, Triple H does, but Vince doesn't.
True. This is very true.
Honestly, they should have Cody out there doing it. They should have someone out, well, maybe not even Cody, anyone. These are interviews your wrestlers should be doing to get people into the fucking arena. Not you. Not him. He should not be doing any of this. It seems... You want to know what company owners go on podcasts and shit? Indy. DJ Hyde would go on podcasts, okay? Those are the people that go on podcasts. Not fucking Vince McMahon. Not Tony Khan should not be doing this stuff as far as I'm concerned. I'm sorry. It may not be the right thing. I don't know. I just think that it's starting to look like, hey, look, I'm just that guy that'll do your podcast. Look, come on, call me. I'll do it. Yeah. No, you need to be a fucking owner. No, I'm hard to fucking get. No, listen, talk to any one of my guys. Hey, we're pushing a lot of guys. Who do you want to talk to?
Right. I see what you're saying with that. But I mean, that is always, for better or for worse, however you feel about it, it's always been kind of implicitly his strategy is to be the anti-Vince, to be somebody that's more hip and cool and accessible, and he's trying to appeal to the younger people. So, I mean, it's debatable as to whether or not that's a successful strategy or if that's proven to be beneficial for the company and for him, just general. That's always been the goal.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. Fine. You want to be the anti-Vince? That's fine. Go ahead. Do that. But think about what... You can't just pick everything say everything he does is wrong, because it's not. There are some things Vince does. There are some things Vince does right, and not, being the, president of a company, you don't go on little podcasts and and you don't cut little promos on, New Japan, I opened the Forbidden Door. No, he has. I'm getting sick of it. He's so anti Vince McMahon, but he's trying to be this character that's going to end up on TV just like Vince McMahon.
Yeah, I mean, potentially. There is always a little bit of a level of hypocrisy whenever you're so strongly against somebody, because, we've seen that with Cody, where he's basically just recreated some of the shit almost verbatim that Triple H has done, while trying to also be what the Miz is. So it's just like, meh.
Yeah, it's, I don't know. It's just, meanwhile, I just think this article's weird. It's just, they were all right, but it's worth more. Okay, I'm not sure exactly why this was news.
Well, because as you will see later on, this has been a very slow news week, but I mean, I get a little bit what he's going for. Is he's trying to explain why they're in the red, and it's not, basically it's just kind of his way of saying that the sky isn't falling.
Well, that's good. The sky shouldn't be falling. But still, it just feels it's starting to feel just low class. to me that he's jumping on all these, oh, I'll talk to Mike Johnson, I'll talk to this one, I'll go on your little podcast, I'll go on the. No, you shouldn't be doing that. I'm sorry. You shouldn't be going on Busted Open Radio and talking to Bully Ray. Nope. Shouldn't be doing it.
Yeah, I can see that philosophy.
Yep. Anyway. Speaking of, Tony Khan mentioned layoffs and stuff. Speaking of layoffs and firings, seems that got a little, this one's from WrestlingWorld.com. They don't really put a source on here, which means take this with a grain of salt. They're saying that several WWE executives are still pushing to get Aleister Black back in the WWE. Again, they're not. This article doesn't mention any names. They're just saying that a lot of people are trying to get him back before he does end up in an AEW, which a lot of people are saying that they're talking. A lot of people are saying they're not talking. It's just weird, but it does look like a lot of people are looking. I mean, look, they brought Joe back already, but you're not going to bring Aleister Black back to a company in a non-wrestling role.
Right.
So what do? Is bring him back, and they're like, hey, our bad. We were kidding. Isn't it funny? We fired you, and then we brought you back. Remember that time? Remember that time we said you were fired? We were kidding. It was a joke. Come on back. Seriously?
I mean, that's the interesting thing, though, is like, I kind of hope that he isn't, I mean, it's one thing if you're just going back because that's just where you think you're going to be able to make the most money. That's where you feel the most comfortable. You have your reservations about AEW or anywhere else, and you just feel like, here's an easy way to make more money. That's why he's going back. All right, whatever. But he seemed to, the interviews that he gave after they got rid of him was saying that, he talked about how much they liked him and how much he was saying that, they were high on him and, they love the guy. They love the guy. And it's like, well, if they loved you so much, why did they not use you for 7 months and then fire you 3 weeks into your return? Like, clearly they don't like you as much as you might be led to believe. And then even though they're trying to push to get him back, it's like, why would you want to go back to a company that doesn't know if they want to fire you or not? Like that very much seems like the anti in job security.
And I'm telling you, they're looking to bring some of these guys back at lower contracts, just like we were joking about a couple of weeks ago. I really think they're trying to do it. I think they're going to bring them back with lower lower upsides and just try to get them for less money. That's what I think they're going to do. And some of these guys are just going to go, sure, we'll take it. We'd love to be back on your show, Mr. McMahon. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Just hear Vince now. Hey, Aleister, remember when we fired you? That was funny. Vince, that was like a month ago. Hilarious. Get it?
It's become the new Jim Ross. And be like, let's do it again.
Just walking away. Such good shit. Oh, yeah. Good shit. Good shit. Yeah. Anyone smell shit?
I would hope.
Hilarious. Anyway, go ahead.
I would hope that he's smarter than this. Honestly, like I mean, like I said, I get it if you want the money, but he's got other irons in the fire. The guy owns a fucking clothing label. Like he's got other avenues.
Really? He
does.
Good.
I'm gonna want to make sure it's like Black Mass Apparel or something like that.
Oh, nice. Well, at least he's got something on the side, something to bring in some money when he's not making money. That's a good thing. I like that. But yeah. All right. I mean, look, like I said, they brought Joe back. Very strange how they brought him back, but they brought him back, and obviously it was something Joe wanted to do. I think Joe's gonna. Again, I didn't watch NXT this week. I don't know what Joe did, if anything, but it'd be a good fit for him for a little while. See where he ends up a little while into this little NXT run of his.
Yeah, it's just called Black Mass, but it's got an X instead of an A because that's more evil, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like when the Hardy Boys, like when they had a Z. Hardy Boys Z. Boys.
And that was an entire sort of a just trend in society back in the day, where like late 90s, early 2000s, everything was extreme with an X, and there was a Z after everything. And I mean, they literally made extreme bubble gum, because it was sour blueberry, but it was extreme bubble tape.
Everything was extreme. It's just the way it was, man. It was 90s shit, man. Everything had a Z. You know, it was rules, RULZ.
Mm-hmm.
Forget the ES. No, RULZ.
Yeah, the ECW Anarchy Rules.
Yep.
They had the video game. They had the pay-per-view. I had the video game. It was all right.
It was all right.
I mean, a lot of video games prior to like the SmackDown series are kind of shitty, honestly.
Very true. Very true. Some of those games are. Yeah, even some of the games they're coming out with now aren't exactly the greatest, but they're not that bad. Let me see here. Take a look at this little clothing. Oh, yep, it's him and Zelina, obviously.
Ripley's there too, I believe. Oh, the picture to the right.
That does look like her. Those look like her ears and her nose and her hair.
Yep.
Oh,
very
very
nice. Herself, Rhea Ripley.
There you go. Yeah, I see Zelina Vega in one of the pictures. There you go. Black mask clothing. Very nice. Very nice. Good for him, man. That's definitely Rhea.
Mm.
As you scroll down, you can see the picture. That's definitely her. Pretty cool, man. Pretty cool. He's got something else going on. I like that.
Yeah.
Good for him. Good
I
for him.
think that started this year. It says April 6th, but it does give a date in terms of year, but I believe so.
Very nice. Very nice. Very nice. All right. Well, Stephanie McMahon, we all love her. We love to listen to her. We love to see her. I know, not everybody does. She did a little interview with Sports Illustrated where she was talking about the return of WWE Crowds, and I will give you her quote right here. Here we go. Without our fans, we do not have a product. McMahon says, we are so excited to return to our fans in July and then again in August for SummerSlam. Our new tagline is, then, now, forever, together. The word together means everything. This is something we're going to feel, sharing this passion while we're back together. Can you feel it, Smark? Huh? Can you? Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Huh?
From the top of my head to the tip of my toes, Daddy-O.
Yeah, can you feel it? Huh? Can you? All right, anyway.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you keep this up, I feel like I'm just going to have to bite a pillow out of instinct.
That's about the way it's probably going to end up. She continues, from a business standpoint, our international expansion plans had to be put on hold, McMahon says. One of our focuses for growth is recreating what has been so successful in the United States and growing it internationally. Those plans were put on hold, and we had to pivot. There were a lot of different adjustments in terms of driving revenue from the sales and sponsorship perspective. We had to get very creative. Okay, so let's start with the first paragraph. Then, now, forever, together, Smark, together.
That's right. She did not at all take a pre-existing tagline that they've been using for years and then just add the tagline that every other company has been using during this pandemic.
How do you spell pander? You can't spell...
see, S-T-E-P-H.
You can't spell pander without pandemic, can you? The word together means everything. What the fuck does that mean? This is
absolutely nothing.
This is something we're going to feel. Ew.
I mean, yeah, well, yes, like resentment is a feeling, apathy is a feeling, boredom is a feeling. She's right. We will feel it.
Insulting intelligence, which is what they're pretty much doing every Raw, every week, every pay-per-view. And they're expecting us to just hold on and wait until fans come back, you're losing fucking fans every week. You think they're going to be like, oh, fans are back. Time to go back to watching the wrestling. Some of them are going to find something better to do. Like, I don't know, maybe get a girlfriend or something.
Right.
Go get a beer.
Well, yeah, that too. Yes, get a beer, get a girlfriend, just get a remote and change the channel. And there's so many options. It's going to be interesting though, because if like their whole philosophy, and they really sort of, not that they really care, but they dug themselves into a hole with this because they have the whole philosophy of, well, we're going to wait until fans come back before we unleash the good stuff, which is kind of what they've openly been saying. But then it's like, okay, you're really setting yourself up to fail, to be made fun of here, because it's like we're going to be really curious to see what the good stuff is. And then when you trot out a bunch of mediocre or shitty, stupid segments, it's going to be like, this is what you thought the good stuff was, huh? This is your barometer for quality.
Let's bring up our usual restaurant little comparison here. Let's say you own a restaurant, and you're like, all right, I can make a kick-ass menu, okay? But for now, until we get really going, let's do bar food. Yeah, like chicken fingers, mozzarella sticks. Yeah, forget the like Wagyu steak and shit. No. No, we're not going to do that. Not yet. Well, you're not going to get fucking people coming in if you're not doing a good menu. And WWE's menu is like McDonald's right now. It's like, would you like a Big Mac or quarter pounder? That's it. That's all we got.
Yeah.
They're not even McDonald's. They're Mick. Man.
Yeah, you're not getting the McRib. You're not getting the McNuggets. You're not getting any of the Shamrock shakes.
No, you don't need nuggets. Those are extra. Way extra. No, those you got to pay for.
Mm-hmm.
Those you got to pay for. So
the nuggets are Peacock.
you got to call Peacock. You got to go Peacock for the nuggets. You got to sign up for $9.99 a month, and then you can get the nuggets.
Mm-hmm. That'd be a pretty sweet deal.
That would be a good.
Paid a monthly subscription service for some chicken nuggets.
For some nuggets, I'm kind of thinking I would do that. Not a bad idea there, Smark.
Mm-hmm. I think we're onto something. We need to book a meeting.
Let's make an app. Let's make an app for that.
That's right. And actually, it's been kind of interesting. There's like some of the more established chain restaurants have been opening up these little like ghost kitchens, and they're marketing themselves as just being like, did they do their very best to not mention the fact that it's like, hey, we're a sister company of Applebee's or whatever the fuck, and that they're trying to make it seem like they're these like up and coming companies that aren't these big giant chains, and it's actually been working for them, and it's kind of disappointing because you're like, oh hey, what's this new startup company that we want to support in our local area? It's like, well, it's basically just owned by Outback Steakhouse.
Yeah, cheaper version.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, just a cheaper version. So I don't know. It kind of feels like what we've been watching lately on the wrestling, just a cheaper version of what used to be good. So I don't know, but once again, Stephanie here is a little bit out of touch. And another word salad. Her and Triple H just like to make sure they get those words in there, it's like they're hitting their catchphrases. They just get those words in there. And, Triple H with, equality, just got to say equality 3 or 4 times. Make sure I get that in there. Yeah. And Stephanie's like, together. That's the word we're going to use all the time now. Together. We're going to do this together. Well, we've been doing this together for, pretty much we've all been, watching your show for a good long time. Why now are we getting together? We've been together.
Yeah. When did we separate? When did we start seeing other people?
When did you throw me out of the house? I didn't know this. Okay. I had no clue.
Yeah, I thought my toothbrush went missing. I didn't realize that you chucked it outside.
When did you put all of the WWE universe in the doghouse? We never knew. I'm sorry.
He threw my wrestle buddy right out the window.
Well, you can now get AEW Wrestle Buddy, so it's okay, Smark.
That's right. I look forward to just snuggling up with my Joey Janela wrestling buddy and crying myself to sleep.
There you go. You can get all cuddly with your Darby Allin one too.
Mm-hmm.
All right, last time we talked about putting holes in them. Let's just keep going here.
It's true.
Before that comes up again.
I did just a quick aside because it's too late now. We've already entered that territory. This was your fault, by the way. Keep that in mind. You remember those WCW action figures? Probably not, because as you mentioned, you were an adult in the late 90s. But anyways, they had WCW action figures. You would put like a AA battery in there. I think it was like maybe one, maybe two, who cares? But you put a battery in the back of them and you press a button and they would vibrate. I can't say that I personally have, but I've heard tales of people using these things for very nefarious, mean things.
Just shoving it in the pocket and taking a little stroll, sitting on a chair. Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Well, everyone's got a little kink to them, you know. Everyone's got their thing, Smark. Everyone's got their thing.
I mean, that is true commitment to your relationship if you're willing to let somebody put like a vibrating Kevin Nash in your vagina.
I have a feeling Kevin Nash knew what it would be used for and was happy about it.
Mm-hmm. Well, the Kevin Nash specifically, though, that's not a great one for it because it tears its quad about 5 minutes into the game, so you got to switch action figures.
The legs stop vibrating.
Yes. Just one leg.
Just one. Oh, yeah, I forgot it was the Vince doll that both of them, that one stops. Okay.
That had to have hurt like a motherfucker. I can't fathom how badly that had to have hurt. And then just to be such a psychopath that you were just going to power through and finish the show. Like, I mean, God bless the man. He's fucking crazy, but he's a trooper.
Just a look on his face when he's sitting in the ring because he can't get up. Just like dejected Vince. Like, I can't do it and I hurt like a son of a bitch. That was great.
My legs have failed me, pal. They're fine.
I have no control. I don't know what to do. Poor Vince. But speaking of everyone's got their thing, I guess yesterday Toni Storm decided to come out as bisexual.
Mm-hmm.
Hot.
Well, she, to give a little bit more of a detail there, she was on the WWE NXT Instagram. She took over their Instagram profile as they touted, and she was like doing like, I guess, a kind of a Q&A or whatever during that. And, you know, somebody had mentioned, cause she was wearing like this rainbow hat kind of thing situation. And somebody had asked if she was a ally or if she was a member of the community, and she said both, which I think it's really kind of one or the other. But be that as it may, I think just as a journalist, which is what we are, I'm going to require some proof. Because I mean, you don't want to be lying and, you know, pander and manipulate these people. So I feel like you're gonna have to provide some proof.
Well, I mean,
to the following email address. I'm sorry.
Oh no, go ahead, please go ahead. Shoot your shot, bro. Shoot your shot, man. Go for it.
You can find me at Smark_Wahlberg. You just go ahead and send me a DM, and I will verify your claim.
Yeah, it'd be I mean, there is one video of her, but I don't know if you saw that.
Well, based on the sound of my keyboard right now, the answer is no.
It's the same tattoo on the hand. Excuse me. What the fuck is going on around here lately? I think it's the goddamn just working in the warehouse been killing me lately. But yeah, I don't care.
Fair enough.
It's just weird to me that everyone has to have a label now. You have to be this or you have to be that. Otherwise, you're this or you're that. You be you. That's it. Whatever. Doesn't bother me. Again.
Yeah, it is what it is. Yeah, I mean, I'm right there with you. I'm fine, regardless of what it is you decide to do.
Again,
I'm not telling you who the fuck, as long as, you know.
No, I don't care. Again, Toni Storm, bisexual, hot.
Yes, indeed. But I mean, that's kind of the thing right now because it is still Pride Month. We just the other day there was an NFL player, Carl Nassib, I believe. I don't know how to pronounce the last name, but he's an Oakland Raiders player. He came out as being gay. So this is like kind of sort of the time for it to sort of celebrate. You know, this is the month. This is the time to do it and celebrate your involvement within the community. I get it.
Sure. Gay football player. Okay. Good. Good. Enjoy yourself. Go out there, kick some ass, make some money. Go for it, buddy. Done. Done. Smart.
There you have it.
Smart. Pick one.
I was gonna say I'm not. No, I thought you were trying to spur me on. I was like, nope, still straight. No, this isn't gonna work.
No, pick an article.
Let's see. We have some articles.
Not
here.
not pick a label.
It's like, no, here's your chance. Tell everyone your big news. Like, what big news?
Here we go. Labels. I got labels. Need a label? Hey, anyone I got a label here? Need a label? Need a label? Hey, gotcha. Go ahead.
Old label maker. Okay, so we're gonna go from one thing to another. We already kind of sort of took our turns bashing WWE, but here's another opportunity. It's from Cultaholic.com. New WWE writer says they didn't require me to know anything about wrestling. WWE's WWE's preference for writers and members of its creative staff to not have prior involvement in professional wrestling has been a topic of debate amongst fans for many years, with one side saying it strengthens WWE from a cinematic and episodic television point of view. That person was Stephanie, if you're curious, while the other says it waters down and weakens wrestling. Now, new writing staff member Kenice Mobley has reignited that debate, having admitted that she had little to no prior wrestling knowledge before joining the company. Now, I have read this before, and I want to point out, because one of the things she says, she is a Black woman. Mm-hmm. Just keep that in mind as I read this. She says, quote, "Yes, I have been hired by WWE, given the things that you know about me in my entire life and what I'm into. Yes, that's surprising. Yes, that's also a surprise for me. They did not require me to know anything about wrestling, but I do have a background in film production and comedy writing." And they're like, perfect. Come on in, pal. I added that part. So I'm on the Monday Night Raw team. So there's Monday Night Raw and Friday Night SmackDown. And people I know that are on it are Bobby. His name is either Bobby Ashley or Bobby Lashley. And I really should know that. He's like this giant black guy. That's why I said she was a black woman. So don't get offended, I guess. And he and the people who are part of his crew, I know that they call, or at least as of last year, they called themselves the Hurt Business. The Hurt Business. They wear suits and they're like, we're cool. I do remember that was their sort of catchphrase, was "we're cool." Mobley is a stand-up comedian and has been featured on The Tonight Show, Vice, and NBC.
Yeah, not surprising. You don't have to know about wrestling to write about it. Obviously, they don't care. They hired, when all those soap opera writers left that one soap opera that went off the air, I forgot, Days of Our Lives or some shit like that, they scooped up half of them.
Mm-hmm.
They scooped them up, which is why our wrestling has been sucking for years. Patrice O'Neal said he wrote for him at one point.
Yeah.
And he knew nothing about wrestling. He admitted it. He said, I didn't know shit. Yeah, I watched every now and then, but I didn't know shit.
I would have loved to have known, and I don't think he ever really elaborated what the segments were that he wrote, because I would be fascinated to know like whose promos he wrote or what angles he wrote. Because he's an interesting dude. He's a very interesting dude.
Yeah, he was, man. He was awesome. I do miss that guy every now and then. But this doesn't surprise me. And, while we were sitting here, I was looking up some of the tweets that she's put out in her days. They're not very PC. Lot of tweets not very happy with white people. I'll put it that way.
I see.
Yeah. Well, no one's happy with white people nowadays anyway, so who cares?
Yeah, the old PR agent might need to be changed. Not exactly getting the best press these days.
Get scrubbing that Twitter.
That's right. I mean, it's interesting though. Like, there is a part of me that kind of does think having just outside people that aren't necessarily wrestling fans, but come from television, film, whatever backgrounds, they're more in tune and in touch with like actual storytelling and continuity and long-term character developments and things like this. And so that part of it's good, but like when you don't know anything about the people that you're working with, it's like that doesn't give me a lot of faith that you're going to be able to produce good shit.
No, not at all. I mean, the Hurt Business isn't even together anymore. We know that because we're fans. We actually know what's going on, but it's just it's bullshit. It's just bullshit.
Like the bare minimum should be to probably know what the world champion's name is.
Something.
I don't know. He's the big black guy. Like when I read that, I immediately had to look up her name and be like, "Who are you?" Mm-hmm. And when I saw that, I was like, "Oh, thank God!" I was waiting for the fucking firestorm. I was like, "Ooh, if this is a white lady, she is going to be in trouble."
Nope, all good. But yeah, it's just not surprising. They'll hire anyone to write. If you comedians and this and that, this is why we get so much bullshit comedy on wrestling, because they're hiring comedians and they're hiring ridiculous people to write things that doesn't need writers.
Right. And then even that, though, you're doing comedy through the lens of Vince McMahon. So it's like, hey, what's your best poop joke?
He's still like laughing at Abbott and Costello.
They meet the Frankenstein in this one, pal.
Who's on first?
They did. They had a character named Who, actually, too. It was Jim Neidhart.
He was on.
So yeah, you might be onto something.
He was on first.
Mm-hmm.
Did they have a character named what? Because he would be second base.
He was on first. He was an opener. Curtain jerking.
Right. Obviously, that would ask you who was on third. No, I don't know who's on third. Mm-hmm. I actually did a speech in 7th grade on that whole skit.
Wow.
Really, I did.
I mean, this would probably be what, like in the 80s? So like even then it was sort of an odd pull.
Yeah, but it was sort of the theme of the speech that I had to do. I had to pick either an older comedian or an old comedy team. And I had seen the Abbott and Costello thing, and my dad had the VHS. So it kind of worked out. That was kind of another, it kind of fit, but, you know, it was good though. They played the whole skit in class, and I got an A on that speech.
Nice.
Yeah. Did the whole, I talked about them. I talked about the relationship between Abbott and Costello, how they broke up, how everything happened, how they really despised each other pretty much the whole time they worked together and still made it work.
Right.
Yeah, like a wrestling.
Christopher Kane saying WWE doesn't want anyone that knows pro wrestling on the writing team. I mean, pretty much. I mean, there's been record of that.
No, why would you? No, don't. Oh, no, you don't need to know their names. Please, just write for that dude over there and that guy over there. You don't know anything about them. No. Just write lines. They don't need to fit anybody. What are you talking about?
Right.
Ugh. Anyway.
Like I said, that's kind of a cool thing in the sense that, they know how to actually tell stories and they have an eye towards continuity and things like that. But when you don't know anything you don't know the history, how are you going to call back certain moments? How are you going to, make this angle work? There's a lot of things. There's a lot of the actual good writers and, bookers and things like that have a way of, sort of bringing the things that happened in the past into the future and making it all tie together and things like that. So when you don't know anything about it, you're not really getting the full experience.
Yeah, and I'm not saying you got to be some big wrestling historian or this and that, but like Smark said, I want to know a champion's name. A few things you should probably know going in and maybe just have a little bit of knowledge of what's going on. But I guess that's too much to ask. Who am I? Who am I to judge the juggernaut that is WWE? So there, yeah, Christopher Kane. Does she even know what a dirt sheet is? I doubt it. Someone tell her about this show. Anyway,
Yeah. We'll have her on. Why not? I mean, she might not be thrilled based on what you were saying on the previous tweets as to the makeup of our show, quote unquote.
well, you know, life sucks. You pay taxes and you die. Hey. Sorry, my daughter came in. Hi.
Sasha Baron Corbin says we need a wrestling version of Siskel and Ebert.
The fuck you think we are? Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Or at least, I feel like at the very least, we're a Statler and Waldorf type.
Not sure who would be Siskel or Ebert.
Can I be the one that's not dead, or are they both dead?
I don't know. I think I'm not sure. I have no.
Well, I know one of them is from Chicago. They might both be from Chicago, but I think that's the dead one, so I don't know if I want to be that one.
There's two guys who hated each other who worked together for years too. So yeah, they did. They hated each other too.
I can't believe I'm going to do, I can't believe I'm going to do research on Siskel and Ebert while we're talking. This took an interesting turn. I now have to look up whether or not Siskel and Ebert are both dead. Let's see. Yeah, Siskel's dead. He was a Chicagoan, so that's him.
Okay.
Ebert's dead too. Yep.
All right. Well, a lot of death on this.
Sorry to break this to everybody. I guess it's another sad turn.
Yeah. Well.
Transition.
On that note, let's move on. Smark, pick whatever you want to talk about. Whatever.
Just start talking about anything else, motherfucker. Anyways, somebody who is very much still alive, actually. Yeah. I'm gonna throw this your way since this is definitely in your wheelhouse. It's a tweet, but it's a little bit more than that. It's from Ricky Morton. This was on June 19th. I believe that was a Saturday. He says, "I wrestle in my 50th state today. Pretty effing cool, if you ask me." And this is he had a match with GCW against Atticus Cogar, and GCW went to their first Wyoming show on Saturday. Oh. So with their show in Wyoming, it completed the list of states that he has wrestled in, all 50.
That is pretty cool, man. It's good to see these guys still out there, still doing their thing, man. I mean, Jesus, how old is Ricky Morton? Almost 70? He's got to be almost 70.
Yeah, it's definitely got to be up there. They, I posted in the Mixler chat here. They gave him a nice little plaque. GCW did. It's the picture's upside down, but that's not my fault because I didn't upload it. It says, "On behalf of the millions of fans you have entertained for over 4 decades in all 50 states, we congratulate you on this historic milestone." And you do have to sort of tilt your head in order to read it because, like I said, it is all kinds of discombobulated, but there you go. It's a nice little plaque.
Oh, my head hurts. Oh, my neck. Okay, yeah, that is a nice little plaque. Pretty cool. Ricky Morton going all 50 states wrestling, and a little, it looks like a hand-drawn picture of him over there.
Yeah, it was a pretty interesting show too. It was I saw the match. The match itself, for whatever reason, it was like over really quickly, so I don't know what that was about. So it like wasn't necessarily the best of matches, that particular match, but I mean he's been killing it even as of like last year. He's been putting on some great matches, and which is like, it's just really impressive for somebody of his age to still be out there and just be going at 100%. Cheers to him on that. And also a little bit of a side note to that GCW show, the main event, it was Mance Warner versus Nick Gage. They knocked over a bunch of like concession stand tables, and they ended up getting the police called on them. There's footage from Joey Janela's Twitter of cops questioning Mance Warner as to what the hell was going on. So that was kind of interesting too.
Yeah, I did see that. I was gonna play that, but I didn't. It was hard to make out the words being said and everything. So I figured.
Yeah, a lot of the audio was intelligible, and Joey Janela was kind of, understandably a bit farther away from the whole scene than
Yeah.
you would necessarily have to be in order to get good audio of that. But it's interesting. Like,
Yeah.
I just like the idea of somebody questioning Mans Warner in him talking in that voice. It's just kind of funny to me. Like, well, listen, brother.
Please imagine questioning Nick fucking Gage.
Listen, I didn't fucking do anything. I mean, I
Look, man, I fucking defended myself. MD fucking K all fucking day, cop.
Oh, yeah, he's selling it as it being a shoot. Like, I would feel bad. I would not want to be the one that would have to tell Nick Gage that the cops want to talk to him again. Like, that doesn't seem like that would be fun.
I'm fucking out of here, bro. Okay.
It's like, no, you're probably not in trouble this time. Come back. Don't run.
No,
Don't
Nick,
run.
no, Nick, no warrant. No warrant. No, come on. Okay. Don't fuck with me. Fucking MDK your ass. All fucking day. I could just imagine. Either that, it would be.
Thanks the cops for coming.
It would be funny.
Thank you for supporting us. I fucking live for this shit. Like, no, we're here to talk to you, sir.
It'd be hilarious if they actually walked up to him and he's like, "Guys, you guys are the best. Thank you so much for what you do out there."
Sweater with a fucking ascot on.
Thank you. Back. All right. And then he comes out, motherfucker, I told them motherfucking cops I'm MDK all motherfucking day. All right. Okay.
I do like that idea. I like him having a nice little like monocle.
Yeah, it's like Eminem and Marshall Mathers, When he was in court that time, he wasn't so tough, was he?
Well, he got a lot of training in that. He was in court quite a few times.
Yeah.
Apparently, police don't like it when you pull guns on people. It's a real faux pas.
Well, especially when you pull an unloaded gun on Insane Clown Posse. It's just not a good idea. To pull an unloaded gun.
Probably why he didn't get in trouble. It's like, if you'd have pulled a gun out on somebody that was good, we might have arrested.
But it was just Violent J. I mean, lucky the Juggalos didn't kill him. Yeah, really cool. I'm obviously a huge Rock and Roll Express fan. They are basically the reason I watched wrestling when I was a kid. Them and the Road Warriors, man. I was like I've said 1,000 times on the show. I was always a big tag team wrestling fan. I don't know what it was about it. I thought just the tandem working together, the guys coming in, the hot tag, no pun intended, but just how those guys tag, crowd gets all worked up, boom, win the match. I just always loved the dynamics of tag team wrestling.
And I mean, it's really sort of interesting if you just think about how long his career spanned. Like they said on the plaque, it was 4 decades. He was with everybody. He was, NWA. He was with WCW, WWF for a time. I think maybe even ECW for a short spell. Just all the various promotions that he's worked for to just now be getting to that milestone. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah. Listen, any milestone they hit, as long as I can. I mean, I'm just glad these guys are still out there doing it. Like I said, man, literally, these guys are the reason I watch. My first wrestling show ever, Dorton Arena, Raleigh, North Carolina. Front row, Ricky Morton fell on me. Robert Gibson got hit and his spit landed on me. I was hooked. I was hooked that day. I was hooked that day. And those were the guys that did it. So Rock and Roll Express will always have a special place in my heart. Just for that, being basically, like I said, the guys that got me into watching wrestling, and I guess maybe they were one of the reasons I liked tag team wrestling so much. That's, Road Warriors. I've always said them. I'm just always been a tag team wrestling guy. Love me. I've said it a ton of times in this show. I love tag team wrestling. I love tag team tournaments. Fucking good shit, man.
Right.
So good for Ricky Morton. Keep doing it. A lot longer. The longer he's doing it, the less old and decrepit I feel.
Oh yeah, I mean, he still very much seems like he's one of those people that's the phrase young at heart. Like he seems like he's still just one of the boys that's out there having a good time and just loving what he's doing.
Yeah, absolutely, and I'm loving that he's still out there doing it. So good for him, man. Definitely good for him. But all right, Smark, we got a couple more little things, and I guess this is going to be a shorter show because we've only got a few things. Like I said, I haven't watched much. wrestling this week. Smark, maybe if you want to talk a little bit about a Hell in a Cell after we get through these last two quick articles here, we'll do that. I guess I can do it, and you can wrap up that last one with that Kevin Owens article. So, Smark sent another one. He kind of shot it over for me to go ahead and read to you guys. It's about Keith Lee, and he's been trying to trademark his name. Now, this is something we talked about, I think, 2 or 3 months ago, Smark. We were kind of mentioning this, that it was going to be a problem because WWE had also filed a trademark for his name. So now what's happening is they're clashing. Now, this was literally on 6/21. A notice was sent to Lee's attorney indicating 2 issues with the application, including a prior pending application for the name filed by WWE. That's going to be the biggest one right there because Keith Lee is not going to be able to go up against the WWE lawyers. You don't go up against Mr. McDevitt. I believe that's his name. Don't go up against that guy. Don't go up against that guy. So he has 2. One was obviously, like I just said, a mark in a prior filed pending application may present a bar to registration of applicant's mark. That means someone else filed for your trademark. Next one, filing date of pending U.S. application serial number, blah, 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 precedes the application's filing date, which means WWE filed before he filed. Okay. What can Keith Lee do? I am not a trademark lawyer, but here's what I'm going to say. Probably not much. Probably not much. Now, we don't know what's going on with Keith Lee. We don't know if he's still... we assume he's still employed by WWE, correct?
Yeah, I mean, that is potentially an assumption at this point because, I mean, you could just throw him on a milk carton right now. He hasn't been seen for quite a while. I think I don't think he's been seen since, like, before Mania.
No, and I mean, he keeps putting out these little vague tweets, not much information in them, but with him...
And I mean, to be fair, he did get, I guess, married, so there was that part of it too. He probably took a little bit of time off, but a long time before then, and now recently after the fact, they still haven't used him. So yeah, they haven't. He's just been, like you said. I mean, put him on a goddamn milk carton. The guys are missing for a while. But like I said, I hate to assume, but I'm assuming you're still with the company. We would have heard, I believe, a little future endeavor statement from WWE had he not been, and you would hear a lot of complaining from fans. And people are still saying, oh, Keith Lee's on the chopping block. I love how people are saying, the imminent, more cuts are coming. You know, if we just say that every week, eventually you're going to be right. Just keep saying it. Eventually, y'all are going to be right. Just keep saying it once a week, and eventually you'll be like, see, we told you so. It only took us a year to be right. But anyway, I don't know why they keep throwing Keith Lee's name around. I would feel pretty shitty if I was him. They're like, do people want me to leave? What the fuck? But I don't think he can do much here. I think he's going to kind of be pretty stuck. Not being able to trademark his name since WWE filed previous to him, number one. And number two, he's going to have to go up against a lawyer. And that's not going to be a good thing to go up against a WWE lawyer. And that's not going to help his employment with the company at all. No, this is very much true. I think the benefit, I guess, if anything, is that actually is his name.
Yeah.
His name is Keith Lee. So, I mean, if anything can help him with that, the fact that it's actually his name is probably going to be beneficial to him. That might not completely sway things his way, but at least that's at least some form of a ground to stand on. And then, of course, like you had read earlier in the article, he has been using that since pretty much the beginning of his wrestling career. So
yeah, and you're right.
Like you said, it's going to be a battle. It's going to be kind of an uphill battle for him, but he does have a couple of little things in his favor, at least.
Yeah, I didn't know that was his real name. It looks like he's used Looks like he has 4 names. And it looks like he's used both names as in-ring names. Looks like his name is actually, no, Keith Lee, Kevin Payne. They're saying his name is Keith Lee, Kevin Payne.
Well, ring names, Keith Lee, Kevin Payne.
No.
I also saw one that said his name's Keith Dwayne Lee. I don't know.
I don't know. It's so many weird things from Wichita Falls, Texas. Pretty nice. Didn't hear that. I don't know. Yeah. Okay. Keith Lee. Yeah. Kevin Payne was another ring name. You're right. Keith Lee, wrestler. So yeah, I didn't know that was his real name. But listen, you think John Cena wouldn't want to have trademarked his own name before WWE did it?
Actually, never mind that Keith Dwayne Lee thing. That's a different. He's a former center for the Chicago Bulls. Never mind.
I'm on Wiki. I was about to say I didn't see any Dwayne in here, but yeah, I mean, like I said, the fact that WWE is not using him, I kind of feel bad for the guy because of it. The fact that now he's going to have even more issues with WWE, unless he just decides to say fuck it and let them take it. They'll abandon it eventually. The problem is he can't, if the company gets it and then he does leave the company, he can't use that name.
Now, this is an interesting question because he is married to Mia Yim, who is part black, part Asian. Would that give him, like, potentially the opportunity to just change his name to Keith Lee L.I.?
No.
All right. Well, it was worth a shot.
He could go by Keith Yim, pull the old Mike Bennett.
There you go.
Yeah, could do that, you know. Could go in there as that, just take her name. But no,
I still personally like the idea of him just like going by doing the angle of just being like Patrice O'Neal's illegitimate son. Because I don't care what anyone says, he looks like Patrice O'Neal's son.
He does have a little bit of Patrice O'Neal to him. But yeah, I just don't know what's going to happen with this. But again, I feel bad for the guy knowing that the company's not really using him. And the fact that this is just another obstacle for him. And again, if he leaves the company and WWE gets that trademark, he can't use that name, which he's been using for a very long time, obviously. So I don't know. We'll have to see where this one goes, but I don't think the guy's got a lot of ammunition on his side. Again, I'm not a trademark lawyer, so I'm not sure, but just my opinion.
There you go. I mean, I'm studying to be a trademark lawyer, but I haven't gotten the certification yet, so I can't really weigh in on that.
Okay. Well, you know, the online classes are doing well, Smark.
Right. From the University of Phoenix. Shout out.
I was home one afternoon. I decided to make the call.
Mm-hmm. They told me that I could be on a commercial that would air at 3 a.m. on Comedy Central, and I just couldn't pass up that offer.
And they're on all. Dude, those are on all afternoon too. My mom watches Judge Judy every day, and those commercials are all over Judge Judy and those shows. Judge Judy, Divorce Court, all those fucking housewife shows.
That is always interesting, like how the commercials change for like as you progress throughout the day, where you like start off with like injury attorneys and then you end the night with like Adam and Eve commercials.
Yeah. I mean, you know, during those commercials during the day are all weird though. It's like, do you or anyone you know have mesothelioma? Have you touched asbestos in your life? Have you ever put in insulation?
Mm-hmm.
If so, call the attorneys of injury or whatever bullshit they've got.
Yep.
So, all right. Anyway, Smark, you had one more, and I guess we'll get into you can whatever you got to give on Hell in a Cell, whatever thoughts are, and then we'll just roll from there. A couple things on Raw, a couple things on NXT, and we'll wrap it up.
Yes. Stay tuned for the new segment, What Does Smark Remember from Hell in a Cell? That'll be fun. But speaking of Hell in a Cell, the lead into this is from F4WOnline.com. Kevin Owens is taking a break following WWE Hell in a Cell. Owens wrote on Twitter that he would. This is quality journalism here. It's copy and pasted from Twitter. You can't get any better than that. This is Mike Johnson. Brian Rose. This is Brian Rose. So shout out to him for his hard-hitting journalism. Anyways, Kevin Owens writes, quote, "I fought like hell," he wrote. "Now I need a little break. I'll be back soon. Thank you, guys." The story of the match had Owens suffering from a storyline throat injury that took place on SmackDown. When he was in the tag team match with Big E against Apollo Crews and Commander Aziz, Owens was pinned in that match when Aziz struck him with the Nigerian nail. Owens spent much of Hell in a Cell match selling the Nigerian nail attack, which ultimately led to Zayn win after Zayn dropped Owens throat first on the bottom rope, then connected with a haluva kick. So there you go. You know what happened in that match. That's one off the docket. After ultimately losing to Roman Reigns in a feud for the Universal title, Owens once again found himself feuding with Zayn at the start of this year. Two had a match at WrestleMania, blah, blah, blah. You get the gist of it. So he's going to be gone for a minute.
Yeah, he seems to do this. He seems to have big matches, get the blow-off match, and take a little break, which I don't see a problem with. He always comes back to he's going to come back to fans. He's going to probably come back to a huge pop. He always does come back to a huge pop when he comes back. So be nice. Be nice when he take a break, come on back when the fans are in full effect, have been there for a little while, and get that wow factor from the fans once again. Not a bad idea, in my opinion. Yeah. So, Smark, what else you got there on Hell in a Cell, sir?
All right. Well, the interesting part, I guess, is that we did the predictions, and one of them is sort of a sketchy means, I guess, but I will run the ceremonial victory lap and say that I got all of my predictions right. There was a little bit of the finish to the Charlotte and Rhea Ripley match was a disqualification. Charlotte went via disqualification, so that kind of it's a little on the verge there of not being right. But I picked her to win. I didn't pick her to win the belt. Technicality. How about that? So, anyways, the first match was Bianca Belair versus Bayley. It was a pretty decent match. The end was really cool. She had her finisher, the KOD, on the steel ring steps, which was interesting because you had Bayley brought them in. So, of course, that means she's going to get thrown upon them. It's sort of the rule anytime you introduce a weapon, somebody else hits you with it. But it always makes me laugh because you have two options when it comes to using the steel steps. They're either 1,000,000 pounds or they're light as a feather.
Yeah, one of the two.
It changes every time.
KOD.
Yeah.
Was that the gang in the movie The Substitute?
I couldn't tell you.
The KOD. What's his name? The guy who's I need to know. Mark Anthony was the leader.
Was that the guy that was? I'm genuinely asking this. Was this the guy who was briefly entangled with Jennifer Lopez?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
cool,
him.
Cool.
Yeah, he was the leader of the gang in the movie The Substitute. And I believe their name, I believe it was the KOD. Kings of Destruction or some bullshit like that. Yeah.
There you have it.
Good movie.
That was pretty cool, I guess.
All right. Sorry to interrupt. Yeah, always. All right. They had a few women's matches on this show, actually. 3, I believe.
Yeah, somebody had kind of put a note out, and it wasn't them, so they didn't do it on purpose. But somebody had combed through their card because the pre-show match was Mandy Rose versus Natalya. So somebody looked at all the card and compared the matches, and this was the first WWE pay-per-view where there were more female matches than male matches, which I'm surprised that they haven't already put a giant fucking dog and pony show in place to pat themselves on the back and celebrate that. You haven't seen Stephanie come out and cut a 20-minute promo about how this is all her idea and how great she is. So leads me to believe that was not intentional. It was just purely happenstance.
It is kind of funny, though, that it does come out right after Triple H made those comments about how they don't need their own show, blah, blah, blah. Timing.
It's true.
Timing. Little odd on the timing. I'll say that.
Yeah, that's true. The match after that was the Kevin Owens Sami Zayn match. It was good. It was a really good match, but I mean, it was sort of the theme of the show was like all of the matches were good, but they were all just matches that we've seen before over and over again. It was like, we were getting Backlash was basically just the matches that we saw at WrestleMania, and Hell in the Cell was basically the matches that we saw at Backlash and at WrestleMania. So it was if you've seen either two of those shows, you've seen this show. Mm-hmm. But like I said, this is a good match. I talked about it in the article that I had read. Sami Zayn won. After that, it was the Seth Rollins match with Cesaro. Seth Rollins ended up winning with a roll-up, which has been sort of the name of the game in WWE the last couple of this week, especially because there were 2 roll-ups on this show. There were 3, I believe, on Raw, 2 in the women's, 1 in the men's match, and there was another one on NXT. So it's been roll-up after roll-up after roll-up.
The old roly-poly.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Which, I mean, I like the idea of them trying to sell the idea that matches can end at any minute. You don't have to go through and wait for somebody to hit their finisher twice before the match is over. But at the same time, you can't introduce one thing that changes it up and then automatically just run it in the ground immediately. Because, like I said, there has been probably about 6 matches that have ended via roll-up on WWE TV this week.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it does seem to be their kind of go-to lately. But, and you're right. Listen, a roll-up is great for a heel to win, to sneak out a win, eke out a win. That's what that's really for. You can't have everybody do the roll-up and get a win, just that way. I mean, Rollins, it makes a little bit of a sense for him to do that, although I didn't see the context of how he did it, so I shouldn't really be commenting, but the roll-up is getting a little, the old roly-poly, let's call it the roly-poly, is way, way overused, especially, I would say, over the last 3 months.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Definitely. And I will say, to your point, it does work, and it did work in this situation with Rollins, because it basically put over the idea that this is a guy who, they talk about it all the time. He's won the world title multiple times. He beat Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania, so on and so forth. He is a big star to them, and they have him win these big high-profile matches. Well, he won via roll-up, and he, celebrated like he had just won the title again. So it's like, not only does it, he get the benefit of going over, but he also, it makes it look like Cesaro is this, big important person, because it was such a triumph for him to be able to win, and he needed a roll up to do it. It works out for both guys, I think. Something that doesn't work out for anybody after that was the Shayna Baszler Alexa Bliss match, which it was a masterclass in Kevin Dunn doing Kevin Dunn things. Shayna Baszler got Alexa Bliss in the corner at one point and started just sort of peppering her with body shots. And every time she hit her in the chest or hit her in the stomach, which she did about 10 times, the camera jump cut. So basically, if you watch this, you may have gotten at least a minor seizure, because it was just it was absolutely absurd. She ended up winning the match. Alexa ended up winning the match, and during the match, she took control of Nia, did the mind control gimmick, had her slap poor old Reggie. There was a distraction, and she ended up beating Shayna, and then that was it. But what was interesting about that, I mean, I'm not against the mind control thing. I think it's a different way to do the whole spooky character angle without having to do all the fire and all the stuff that we've seen a billion times. But it's been pointed out by a lot of different people, if she can control her opponent's mind, why wouldn't she just have her lay down so that she could pin her? I don't understand that part of it.
Yeah, why even have the match? Just look at her, lay down, and that's it. Match over. That's the way to do it. Instead, no, they've got Reggie trying to get back at Nia, almost slapping her, and Nia giving him a big old hug on Raw. I saw that part too. So, all right, Smark, keep rolling there.
Yeah, so I think we got 2 matches left. This was the next one was the Rhea Ripley Charlotte Flair match. Rhea Ripley had Charlotte on the outside, and I was getting nervous because all of my picks had been correct up until this point. So I was like, fuck, what have I done? So anyways, Rhea Ripley had Charlotte on the floor. She was working her over, and she did the whole, she's starting to set up how Randy Orton does, where she's clearing off the table. Well, she takes the little top part off of the table, it falls, and it just sort of grazes Charlotte, which I don't know if that was intentional or if Charlotte just wasn't in the right place, but it just ever so slightly grazes her, and they ring the bell and it's a disqualification. So it was a pretty shitty finish, but it was what it was. The match itself was not too bad. Charlotte worked her leg for most of the match. It was decent, but it was like it was like the most sort of like kind of absurd grounds for a disqualification as possible. She didn't even hit her with the table. She just like coincidentally bumped into her, and that was enough. So it was just like, it was not a great finish.
Okay.
But then after that, that was the last. The main event was next. It was Drew versus Bobby, of course, once again, part 809,003 a decent match. It ended up ending with Drew got distracted by MVP because he ended up finding his way into the cage anyway, and Lashley locked in the Hurt Lock. Drew tapped out, and it was pretty bad because like the whole feud was based on like Lashley was talking about how he was going to kick Drew McIntyre's ass. He even said on Raw leading up to on the Go Home show that he was going to put forth a public execution. If you watched Hell in a Cell, you were going to watch a public execution. Meanwhile, Drew McIntyre is cutting these like folklore promos where he's talking about like the spider that takes on this dragon or some shit. And it's just like, it's the most absurd stuff. And it's just like, who cares? And then he lost the match, and they show him up the ramp with looking like he's trying to make himself cry, but he just isn't getting there. So he's like doing the pouty cry face, and his like shoulders are going up and down like he's trying to make himself cry. So he looks like he's about to cry. And it's just like, why do you think this is a good idea? Like, why do you think this is an effective way of presenting somebody? It just makes him look like a big old fucking bitch.
Oh, jeez. Well, I'm kind of not upset that I missed Hell in a Cell. I will go back and watch some of it. We're not going to review it, but doesn't sound like a horrible show. Now, Smart, Christopher Kane asks a question here, and I believe it needs to be addressed. Why doesn't Jason or Freddie use guns? Now, Freddie, how could he use a gun? He has razor blades as fingers. Freddie couldn't use a gun. Freddie could not use a gun. Jason has a machete. What else? Jason is known for cutting people up. He doesn't take the cheap way out. You can shoot him, you can drown him, he will not die. So he doesn't need a gun when he can walking up to you and just slice you up with a machete.
Oh, okay. It took me forever because I wasn't paying attention to the Mixler while I was doing the recap of Hell in a Cell. So I was like, what spurred that on? And then I remembered that we were talking about the Alexa segment. I was like, all right, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. So I guess basically what he's suggesting is that you can, if you look hard enough, you can find plot holes and logic flaws and everything, which is I guess that's a fair point.
It is.
Jason also, I think Jason has they kind of put it over that he has superhuman strength, basically. Like he can fucking slam people's heads against trees and they just fucking die, or he can squeeze somebody's head, make it explode. There was that one, I forget what movie it was, but he grabbed a sleeping bag that one of the campers were in and just fucking slammed it against a tree and just a bunch of times, and that killed him. So he's got like this fucking superhuman strength, a la like early 90s Kane or late 90s Kane.
There you go. Very nice. So, all right, well, there's that. And a statement that I agree with. Charlotte Flair doesn't have an ass with all the beach pictures. No, she has no ass. She is built like a 4x4 with tits.
Now, technically, she does have an ass. Like, it functions for the digestive purposes. It's just the curvature leaves something to be desired in most people's estimate.
Yeah, she ain't got no cheeks.
That's right. There you go.
Squats. She needs more squats. Her legs are extremely skinny. She skips leg day, I believe.
Could be.
It looks like she does arm day and chest day. That's about it. That's about it. So
she does chest day. In a sense, I guess.
Like I said, she's built like a fucking, you go to Home Depot, you can get a 4x4, put some tits on it. Hi, Charlotte. How are you?
I do enjoy that image. Or just like taping some balloons onto like just a piece of wood.
There you go. Go get your 2 beach balls. No, that's not her anymore. That used to be. You used to be. Careful. Cesaro might come up and pop them. Be careful.
I will never. That will never not be funny to me. Just the idea of this man who is making just a shit ton of money, that knows all, like, I think he knows like 5 or 6 different languages. He basically looks like a male model, and just of all things, like, this guy is living a very wonderful existence, but yet still sort of insecure enough to be threatened by a beach ball.
Dude, they literally have WWE has like a Jason Statham with him.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't use him like that, which they should. But, and yeah, I'm sorry, he embarrassed himself with the beach ball. That was embarrassing, in my opinion. If you really, if you really think that that's taking attention away, that's not what it's doing. It just gets the crowd involved. That's all it does. It's something for the crowd to do. Jimmy, I've been to 6 Jimmy Buffett concerts. I guarantee that's what they do. They throw those things around the concerts. He kicks them back into the crowd. You know why? The crowd's having fun. And when the crowd's having fun, they're into your match. But no.
Yeah, exactly.
No,
exactly.
he had to grab it and tear it up, like throw a fit like a goddamn fucking 5-year-old.
Well, that only was that kind of sad, but like it sort of works a little bit because he's a heel, so you could just look at it as a way of getting heel heat. But if you remove the fact that he talked about it on the New Day podcast, and they all took turns talking about how great it was, that he fucking showed the fans what's what. And it's like, if you guys were like putting on a good match, or if it was a match that we haven't seen a billion times, we probably would have been more invested. Like, it's not our fault that the people that write your stories are shitty at their jobs.
Yeah, but again, it's not a sign of disrespect to the performer. It's just the crowd doing something to keep. It's like doing the wave. How different is doing the wave than popping a beach ball around?
Mm-hmm.
It's crowd interaction. It's good. It's not a bad thing. If you take it as a bad thing, you might want to, go see a fucking counselor, as far as I'm concerned. There's no fucking disrespect to what that crowd was doing, and you just, I'm sorry, you made a fool of yourself, Cesaro. Still like the guy. Still think he's an incredible entertainer, strong as shit.
Oh, I do too, but I mean, that's sort of the problem with social media and stuff like that. Is I remember Mick Foley going on this like long-winded tirade about just being mad that people had the audacity to say that the Raw belt, the tag team belts on Raw looked like shit when they had those gladiator titles. I think they still do, actually, but I mean, there's a lot of people that are just very sort of insecure in that way, and I think we all are kind of insecure just as people. But at the same time, when your job requires you to kind of be a tough guy, it just
yeah. But at the same time, stop telling people they're not allowed to have an opinion.
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, we've talked about this before. Is anytime a wrestler comes out and was like, wrestling was better before social media, it's basically just going, I liked wrestling better when you didn't have a say. You're like, okay, well, thank you for telling us that you don't like our opinions and that they don't matter to you.
Yeah, wrestling was so much better before all you whiny little bitches came along. And you know what? I'm not going to say I disagree with that sentiment, but this is where we are, and we're not gonna. I don't see social media going away. People would have, oh my God, you'd have nervous breakdowns.
Oh yes, yeah, definitely. Well, yeah, I mean that's definitely true. It's become the fabric of a lot of our existences. As scary as that sounds,
really pretty girls would have to actually get jobs instead of just standing in front of a camera taking pictures of themselves making $100,000 a day.
Mm-hmm.
They'd actually have to get a job where they only made like maybe $200 a day.
I didn't want to talk about this because this is a vast departure, and I'm going to have to find it on Twitter now, or find the news article. But a girl was banned from Twitch because she was a ASMR streamer. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Nothing weird about that. But anyways, the tipping point ended up being that she got in trouble because, per the sort of urging of her chat room, shoved a microphone up her ass. That apparently counts as ASMR. I'm going to find the article for this, but it is interesting.
Now you see, there's a keeper.
Oh yes, definitely. I mean, if you're willing to shove a microphone up your rear and in order to entertain the people.
Okay, now what would now why would that get you kicked off Twitch?
Well, I don't know if I can actually read you the exact, like, in their rule book how that's against terms of service.
I know,
but it is against their terms.
I know Paige got kicked off for like something she said or something like that. But so you're saying you can't shove a microphone up your ass on Twitch? That's interesting. Oh, there we go. Sensible Sam would watch me and you in a hot tub on Twitch. That'd be a very odd show, and see which one of us got electrocuted first.
So I posted the Twitter post here, and it's obviously not safe for work. Just keep that in mind if you choose to click it. But yeah, this is where we are as a society nowadays, where a woman is literally shoving a microphone into her colon, while one person says, quote, "fart man," and the other person says, "just end if there's no fart."
Okay, she's first of all clothed. She's not naked doing this.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I guess you can't do this, but I mean, look at this. But I mean, look at this girl. She has 622 subscribers just that day. She already has like 32,000 followers. I mean, these girls would actually have to go get jobs if social media went away.
Mm-hmm.
What would they do? Name something these girls are qualified for. I don't even think I would want them working at McDonald's serving me my fucking burgers.
Strippers, bikini car wash,
okay.
Porn.
Well, the world needs strippers and porn stars. So,
oh yeah, I'm not shitting on those professions, but I'm saying they're actually quite the opposite. These strippers are actually waking up at some form or time, getting out of bed, getting into a car, driving, actually dancing, actually engaging with people that give them money instead of it just being like this parasocial relationship. Like, there's actual effort being made. They're choreographing these routines. They're putting on costumes. It's way more hard work than actually just like sitting in front of a computer screen and just like occasionally mentioning that somebody gave you money.
Yeah, well, all right, well, good for her. She'll be back on, I guarantee it.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. I mean, that's the thing is like, it originally started, it was like Justin.tv, and then it became Twitch, and like the goal was usually always for people to, video games, to record themselves playing video games, make video game related content, so on and so forth. But the thing is now is that it's owned by Amazon now, and Amazon is going to do whatever makes Amazon money. So if there is a lot of people in the chat room, there's a lot of people giving the streamers money that they take a cut of, and that they get money from advertisers for, that revenue, that content. Like, they're not going to get rid of these people. It is what it is.
They'll slap you on the wrist and bring you back a few days later. Just take a little break. Take a little break. Take a Kevin Owens. Take a Kevin Owens, and we'll see you soon. So
they get put on timeout like old Lily did by Alexa.
There you go. Put in timeout. I guess we can jump into Raw real quick. And again, we don't have much. I don't have much on Raw. We talked about Friday. They were talking about calling Eva Marie's little protege there, Piper Niven. They were going to call her Doudrop, and it did get official. They are calling her Doudrop, Doudrop. She did not look happy about it, Smark. In that little promo, it looked like she was about to say her name, and Eva Marie just kind of cut her off and was like, Doudrop. That's her name. So what do you think of
that? Same thing I thought about it, last week when we were talking about it. It's not a great name. And it's just like, I think maybe the way that they set that up kind of gives them the opportunity to be like, that name was forced upon her. That she's just going to go with it, but that was never really that wasn't her name. That's not what she intended her name to be. So like after the obvious, and it seemed like they were like almost already setting this up, but based on the fact that she, Eva Marie went for a tag, and she did the old Doudrop, as we're going to call her now, did the whole jump off the apron, walk away thing. So like they're already kind of setting her up to turn on her. So it seems like it's a matter of time. But once she does turn on her, the whole, that was never my name. This is who I really am. Get behind me. It'll be an easy way for her to get over as a face, I think. So it's a dumb name, but it's a smart idea how they're introducing it.
She could have shirts that say Piper, not Doudrop, kind of like Rebel, not Reba. This is kind of where it's reminding me of at this point. Because if she was even mouthing her name while Eva was talking, Piper. My name's Piper. So you may be right that maybe where they're going is with the babyface turn. I didn't see a lot of this. But it was made official. Her new name for right now is Doudrop. So there you go, everybody. Enjoy that. I guess we need to get into the Nikki Cross thing. Because the internet lost their minds, Mark. The old social media that we were just talking about lost their goddamn mind. Nikki Cross, out of nowhere, suddenly is dressed like I don't even know. She's got like Egyptian gold and blue, and she's a superhero suddenly, Smark, out of nowhere.
Yeah, this is wild. Sort of like just somebody heard what the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles were, but never actually watched it, and just tried to design a costume based on it. I will post for those who haven't seen it, but it's been all over social media, so chances are you probably have. But I will post it. She has on this like blue kind of bandit mask a la Ninja Turtles. And it looks like I was watching the promo that she was cutting while having it on. They did a close-up of it. It looked like it was hand-painted. And it looks like it was very poorly hand-painted. Like, you could see, like, chips in the paint and shit like that. Yep. It looks like the whole idea is she's supposed to have designed it herself, but she has, like, no knowledge on how to do that. So, it is intentionally supposed to look bad, I guess. I don't know if I'm reading too much into that, but she has that. She has on, like, the, like, blue eyeshadow, blue face paint to kind of match the whole bandit mask look. Butterflies everywhere, butterfly on the chest, butterfly on the mask, butterfly on like the legs of her boots or whatever, that kind of thing. So there's a lot of butterfly centric attire. I had saw the picture before I had seen Raw, and I was hoping that she would like have some sort of a logical explanation as to why she suddenly dressed like a superhero, but really sort of there wasn't one.
Well, her husband, Killian Dane, went on Twitter after Raw and said that Nikki Cross actually came up with this superhero character. His quote was, excuse me, she had an idea and saw it brought to life. Very excited to see what's next. Go Nikki, Dane wrote. Okay, so the fact that she came up with this idea, I'm still not supposed to think that it's a ridiculous idea. She came up with it. She's seeing it. Her husband said that. And for that, I'm just supposed to put away that it's ridiculous and came out of nowhere and what the fuck. How about this? She came up with it. Good. I don't care. It's still stupid. It's still ridiculous. I don't care if she came up with it. I don't care. I could just see Vince going, huh? Whatever. Who are you? I mean, I don't know. I mean, look, her husband did his job. He came to her defense. I get it. But that still doesn't change my mind or my opinion on what is going on here.
Sure. And I mean, like, definitely, I agree with you from the point of, like, her husband did his job because, you know, if she was my wife, I would say the same exact thing. But, and lucky man he is. But the thing about it is like the idea, I do kind of care that it's her idea based on the sake of, because it is kind of silly, at least what we've seen so far of it. The outfit's kind of silly. And like the promo she gave was a little silly, and she's doing the whole like Wonder Woman style turn, you know, spin, and like I was expecting there to be like a transition after that or whatever, or like back in the day on the old Wonder Woman show where she would like spin around in a circle and then she would have the Wonder Woman outfit on, like she did that. But the idea, the fact that it is her idea, at least kind of makes me feel better that this wasn't just some like ridiculous idea that was forced upon her. This was something that she dreamed up, and I guess she has a vision for this character and something that she wants to do with it. And the fact that she's in the same division as somebody who wins matches via mind control, I mean, is it really that much more outlandish than having telekinetic powers and having an evil, murderous doll that you like is your best friend? Like, they've gone to some really weird areas in this division, so it's like kind of
You're just bringing up the ridiculousness that is Raw. But don't you fret, Smark. When crowds are back, we're going to give you our good stuff.
Right. I mean, to be fair, I do like the idea that she's trying to do something. Like, she's not just sitting there and just waiting to be fired. And then also, like, on top of that, that they have clearly demonstrated that they have nothing for this girl. So she's fighting. Because, like, before, it was, she didn't get along with Alexa. Then she got along with Alexa, and they were a tag team. Then she was feuding for the belt against Bayley, and Bayley's whole thing was that she never won anything. And they ended up vindicating the fact that Nikki never won anything by having her lose, like, 3 title matches against Bayley. So they proved her point. And then Alexa turned on her, and then she wasn't seen for a while, and now here she is. So it's like they have, like, over the course of the last year or so, basically made it abundantly clear that they kind of see her as a joke. So she, at very least, is trying her best to fight against the tide.
Yeah, and listen, if this, I'm not saying that, this is awful, she shouldn't be on TV. If this gets her TV time and they run with it and do something with it, that's great. You're right. At least she's not sitting there just, sitting in catering, waiting for the fucking phone to ring to tell her she's fired. Definitely agree with that. And yeah, listen, if this gets her more on television if this gets her, more of what she's looking for, then great for her. It's just out of nowhere and a little bit, it's like jarring. It's like, we're used to seeing this crazy Nikki Cross and, running down to the ring like a maniac, shaking the ropes and just being her crazy self. And suddenly now, out of nowhere, no explanation, no nothing. Just, her explanation was, this is this power has been building up in me, and suddenly now she's just a superhero. It's just very out of nowhere, like an RKO.
Yeah, and I mean, that actually kind of, the way that you said it kind of almost makes it make a little bit of sense. If you're going based on the theory that, like, she has already kind of exhibited the fact that she's sort of mentally unhinged. So if you're already going based on the theory that she's crazy anyway, character-wise, her just randomly out of the blue becoming a superhero sort of makes sense, because it's like, all right, I'm a superhero now because I'm just sort of not tethered to reality, so I don't have to live by the same restrictions that you do.
Yeah, but now you're getting into that female Eugene kind of character.
Honestly, this is I'm probably the only person that thinks this is a good idea, but I feel like if they were going to do a superhero thing with her, they should have given her the green and the black, and they should have literally called her the Hurricane, but like HER. Hurricane.
Oh, I see what you're doing there.
They love the past. You could bring back fucking Shane Helms. You could do some nostalgia baiting. They love that. I mean, it's a built-in gimmick.
There you go. Like Mighty Molly.
Mm-hmm. And I will say, this is the first week of this gimmick, so this might lead to something interesting. Like, I wasn't wild about it this week. She won via roll-up, which was another thing. This is back to the everybody wins via roll-up now.
Yep.
But she won via roll-up, and so, like, it wasn't great. Like, the promo wasn't amazing. She didn't really give a solid explanation as to why she's suddenly a superhero. It was just like you said, she feels powerful and she wants to, display to the world how powerful she feels, and wants to encourage everybody to like get in touch with their inner hero, their inner superpower, or whatever. That was their whole long spiel. So like that part wasn't great, but like I said, it was his first week, so there's still plenty of time for this to turn into something interesting, which it might.
I think they should bring back Hurricane and call her Naughty Nikki instead of Mighty Molly. I like it.
Darling Nikki.
Ooh, little Prince reference there. I like that.
Yeah, although I mean they did fire Velveteen, so they might not want to go that route, I guess.
Yeah, I guess we should skip that right there. But anything else on Raw, Smark, that you can think of? That's really all I caught. Again, I'm sorry. I've been moving this week. It's been tough. I've been getting home late. Told Smark I got a new car Monday, which got me home late again. God damn, the paperwork on those fucking cars. Oh.
I will say. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I'm done. I was so tired after signing all those papers.
Right. Well, I mean, on the positive, at least you do got a new car out of the deal, so there is that.
Yeah.
But not too much. It was a pretty good show, I thought, actually, because they did the Money in the Bank qualifiers. So you had 3 men's matches for Money in the Bank qualifying. You had 2 women's matches, so it kind of shook things up a little bit. We didn't get the same matches that we've seen a billion times, so there was at least that. One thing that did stick out to me, we were talking about on Friday that USA was upset. That was the scuttlebutt. That USA was upset that they gave a free Money in the Bank match away. They gave away the Roman Reigns Rey Mysterio match in Hell in a Cell. So that was a rumor that they were upset that they were giving away a Hell in a Cell match. So on Raw, we kind of dismissed it as potentially being bullshit or just being very vague, and we kind of had a laugh about it. But apparently there might have been something to this because they did end up as a main event. They had Bobby Lashley versus Xavier Woods in a Hell in a Cell.
You whine and cry enough and you get your match.
Right.
There you go.
So I just thought that part of it was interesting. Was there you never really know if the stories that we read are actually true or not, but I think there might have been some kernels of truth to this if they're doing a Hell in a Cell match on Raw the very next night after this alleged bitching done by USA. So there you go with that. It was a decent match too. So I mean,
yeah.
Woods obviously didn't win. You wouldn't have expected him to, but he didn't completely get annihilated. So that was it. They kind of went back and forth. It was pretty good.
Yeah, and like I said, man, a few weeks ago, it's really cool to see Woods kind of in this little role he's been in lately with having these singles matches, because with all the comedy and going and playing the trombone and shit, you just forget how fucking good the guy is in the ring. Once he puts the fucking gimmick away, and it's him in the ring, it's like, man, I forget this guy is fucking awesome. Okay, so. Just kind of one of those things, but might have been a little bit of truth to that, because I forgot to mention they did get their Hell in a Cell on Raw, little match there. So NXT, I watched a couple of segments. I saw Elektra Lopez debut against Frankie Monet. Carissa Rivera, I believe is her name. Was her name on the Indies? Good God, this woman is gorgeous. Number one, wasn't the
absolutely?
I mean, just an exotic-looking beauty of a woman.
Because they announced her. Mm-hmm. This is like her first match, and immediately they announced that she's from Puerto Rico, and she just immediately starts like swiveling her hips, and she does like a little bit of like a lip lick, and it was just like, ah boy, well, to horny jail I go. I'm sorry, everyone. Throw the cuffs on. I go.
I know, man. She is a very beautiful woman. Now, this wasn't exactly her. She was on NXT. I believe it was 2018. She had a match against somebody. And she was also on an episode of WWE where they went up against the Iconics with Chris Statlander, actually.
Yeah, very interesting.
Yeah, that was in 2019. So, and she lost on a SmackDown episode to Lacey Evans on 2018 in November on an NXT TV show. Yeah, lost to Lacey Evans on NXT. So this wasn't really her debut, but I guess it was on the television show since they've been doing this. Since obviously you just heard the 2 years I mentioned. So this was her television debut. My God. The match itself, I gotta say, maybe she was nervous, but wasn't the greatest match. But I'll tell you, man, those two women. There was two very well built women in that ring. My Lord. My Lord. It was a hard match to watch.
That's a very ezy match to watch.
Oh, it was hard for different
certain
reasons.
other things may have gotten.
Oh, I mean, you got to keep pausing, Smark.
Most attention was paid, though. I mean, and honestly, though, as a match as it was, it's like it wasn't the greatest match, but at the same time, it wasn't really designed to be a great back and forth match. It was just sort of their way of introducing Lopez to the crowd, and then the main goal was sort of just to get Monet over, and she won easily. So
right, and
it did what it was designed to do.
And I'm not going to say it was all Elektra's fault. I did see it looked like at one point Frankie was supposed to be in a different spot, and Elektra turned around and she wasn't there. So it could have been both of them. She could have been nervous too, man. First match out, but my God, this girl is a absolute, like I said, just an exotic goddess out there and just looks amazing out there in the ring. But I'd expect to see more out of her. I'd expect to see more of her out there. I'm sure she's gotten a very good reaction from what I've seen just on social media about her. But again, this and the Diamond Mine debut was all I saw, Smark. And the Diamond Mine, you want to talk about a letdown.
Interesting.
You might as well have brought aces and eights out there as far as I'm concerned, except for one guy.
Well, that was the thing, and there's like two minor things that I talk about after this that happened on NXT, but it'll be brief. That's kind of the interesting thing is that they're obviously supposed to be heels. They spent the last month and a half teasing this Diamond Mine thing. And prior to the only reason I knew that they were going to be there was that apparently it kind of leaked out that they were supposed to be there yesterday. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, it would have been a total surprise. But it was kind of interesting because they built up the entire show. You're going to get this dream match, as they call it, between Kyle O'Reilly and Kushida, and they had their match, and it was a decent match. After the fact, though, they set it up kind of interesting because you have Adam Cole come out and attack Kyle O'Reilly, so you think that that's what they're going to end it on. But then right after that, they come out and they just demolish Kushida. The Diamond Mine does. But they're supposed to be these heel characters. And the funny part about it is it seemed like somebody hit the boo sound effect button. And that's where they were getting their boos from. But everybody else, because it's an NXT crowd, is just fucking exuberant to see Roderick Strong back. So there's these boos that sound like they're piped in, but a large majority is just welcome back chants.
The longer you kept Roderick Strong off my TV, the happier I was.
But I will give them a little bit of credit in so much as they actually kept him off of TV for a month or so. They didn't do true WWE fashion where he's gone for a week and then is back.
Not long enough. I'm sorry. I'm just not a fan of the guy. I can't be. I'm not. Anyway, it was basically Malcolm Bivens' group that he's been working on. It was Roderick Strong, Tyler Rust, and Hideki Suzuki, who isn't exactly a spring chicken. I mean, this guy's 41 years old. Just an odd group, in my opinion. Very underwhelming for what they've been pushing with these guys. As far as I'm concerned. I find it weird they're doing more and more stables as AEW keeps growing their stables. They keep growing more stables coming up. We just had, God, didn't they just bring one up in NXT? And now we got this.
Well, yeah, hit RAW.
There we go. Thank you. I'm like, I know they just brought one up. My mind completely went blank. Thank you, Smark.
Yes.
And then now you got this. It seems like they're trying to go tit for tat, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see that potentially being a thing. Since you mentioned Hit Row, or since that was what ended up getting invoked, one of the quick things to mention that I thought was kind of funny was they're like feuding with Rise now. They had a match with Rise on NXT yesterday. So Rise decides that they're going to try to get the one up on Hit Row by spray painting their SUV. Well, what's great about this is that they have face masks. They have these like ski masks on, but you could still see their face through the ski mask. And they have their own T-shirts on, which gets pointed out by Top Dollar. He's like, hey, you can't be trying to fuck with our shit while wearing your own T-shirts. We know it's you. So that was pretty great.
Rise. They're missing an N at the beginning. That should be called Never Rise.
That funny you say that because that's actually what Asante the Adonis said in his promo.
It's true. I didn't know that, and I didn't mean to steal it. I will give him all the credit. But maybe, you know what? I've listened to some NXT reviews too. I might have actually heard it on one of those. So I'm not going to sit here and be like, I made that up. They're going nowhere. I'm sorry, but the nostalgic 90s gimmick isn't what's selling right now. It's just not. I'm sorry.
See, I have a hard time. I have a hard time kind of weighing in on this because I knew them for years prior to this. So I sort of have I'm judging them on what I've already seen from them on the indies. So it's different from, your perspective and a lot of people's perspective of this being the first time that they've seen them. Because if you go based on that, if you just go based on NXT being your only exposure to them, I could definitely see not liking them because they haven't really been doing much. They haven't been presented the best possible way, but
right,
they're getting more and more exposure. And I think over time they're going to grow on more people because this is kind of how they get over, as they're sort of these like annoying smucks at first. And then you start to see the more endearing qualities that they have after a while. So we might end up there, maybe not with you, but I'm just saying people in general might start coming around to them more.
And you know what? It's not that I hate them. I actually don't mind the gimmick. I think the guys are fine in the ring. I actually like what they do. I just think the way WWE has been pushing them is as jokes. Like we've been saying with a few of the people tonight. They're pushing them as a joke. They're out there. They're these good timing guys. All right, well, they're basically so are MSK. They're just good timing guys who go out there and kill it in the ring. That's just not enough anymore. And especially, at least these guys these guys I like the gimmick on Rise. I don't mind the 90s gimmick. The problem is, it's just not far enough nostalgia that people buy it right now. It's just not.
I don't know about that. And I really don't know about that because I don't want it to be. Because if it is, then that means I'm old. So I don't want it to be. But if you're starting to see like these, commercials for TV shows, and you're seeing all of these people now that were like big deal in the 90s being brought back for just like, punchlines, their existence essentially being a punchline, where like that they have that progressive commercial where it's like, oh, aren't you guys supposed to be doing a zany commercial? This is what you guys do. And she's like, no, it's been tough for everybody because of the pandemic. And then like fucking NSYNC bust out of the door and they're like, not now. So it's just shit like that. They had like it wasn't me commercial for Doritos with Shaggy or whatever. So it's like we're starting to get to the point now where like the 90s nostalgia is the big thing, it's a trendy thing. Like how when I was, in my teens and 20s, it was the 80s nostalgia.
Well, that's because the 80s people are dying off.
True. This is very true.
Oh God, I really just made myself feel old. Anyway,
So quick things that I wanted to jump in here real quick. Last two little observations that I had. They of course did the whole recap of the feud between Cameron Grimes and LA Knight. I didn't mean to combine them. One has charisma, one doesn't. I'm sorry, Cameron Grimes. I didn't mean to forsake you. He ends up getting into it with Arlie Sterling, who is the former Alex Zane. I had mentioned him last week because we were talking about Blake Christian's debut, and it seems like they're kind of. It looks like they're having a little bit of a feud going too, because Sterling was talking shit about DiBiase, and in most comical fashion, Grimes decks him, but he makes like the weird Mick Foley noise before he hits him. So he goes, "Yeah!" and he punches him in the face, and it was fucking awesome. I love that part of it. But then the other takeaway that we had Pete Dunne and Orny Lurkin, I think it was, they're feuding with the Way now, I guess, because they got into it. They had this little thing, and Austin Theory ended up like getting into the face of Pete Dunne. Pete Dunne ended up doing the joint manipulation thing. He fucks up his hand, messes up his fingers. They come back from commercial. Gargano has the camera crew ready, and he's like, "You guys know what you're here for. It's time that we go and complain to Regal." So he does this so you have Austin Theory has his fingers taped up because they're supposed to be broken on his right hand. They go to Regal's office. Gargano remembers not to barge in, and so he has Austin Theory knock on his door, but he puts the hand up that has the messed up the fingers on it, and he starts to try to knock, but then he remembers his fingers are messed up, so he asks Gargano to knock for him. But what I love about this is he only had one hand messed up, so he couldn't knock with his left hand for whatever reason, and Gargano accepted this. He wasn't like, "Hey, use your other hand." He was like, "No, you're right. Your right hand's messed up, so you can't knock on doors." That was like my favorite takeaway from the show.
Well, because they're both kind of the idiots. They're both. That's the thing. It's like the blind leading the blind in this storyline. They're both kind of idiots. Johnny in his way, Austin Theory in his way is an idiot. He's not smart enough to realize he has another hand, and Johnny isn't smart enough to realize it either. Is kind of the way I believe they're going. See what I did there?
Right, and it doesn't sound that way based on how I described it, but like the way that they actually did it, no pun intended again, was great if you're trying to get them over as being these two knuckleheads, which they are trying to do that, because like they didn't at all like kind of mention the fact that his other hand was fine. That never got mentioned, so it was actually sort of subtle, trying to make them look like idiots, and I just enjoyed it.
They're two of the Three Stooges, dude. Basically, they're two of the Three Stooges. They're just idiots. But both are fine in the ring, which is kind of the character.
Oh, yeah.
And Pete Dunne, I get it. I manipulated myself a joint last night.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. He cut a promo on the Way, and I needed subtitles. And we both speak the same language, but he just comes out. He's just like, he is just utterly British.
Hold on,
fucking utterly British.
It's. I'm looking at the results on WWE. It's on there. I can play some of it. Give me a second here, Smark. Let me get it loaded up here. NXT results. Turn up the volume while I'm waiting for it to do its little thing, and then we'll go ahead and wrap this up and get on out of here. I got to be up at 6 a.m. Eek. I know. It's awful. I think that's what I got here. Let me hit play and we'll see what happens here. It's going to take, it might be an ad. Oh, wait. There might be an ad. Let me lower this for 1 second here. There's going to be an ad. It's WWE. It's going to be an ad. Applebee's. Applebee's ad. Fuck that. I like Applebee's. I don't give a shit what anyone says about fucking make fun of it. Go ahead. I don't give a shit. Applebee's kicks ass.
I like they're the ones that have the chicken crispers, yeah?
Them and that's Chili's.
Oh, well, okay, never mind. I don't think I've been to an Applebee's in a very long. You know what they used to do? Actually, I remember now. They were the motherfuckers. They might have caused the pandemic because they were offering like $1 Long Island iced teas for quite a while. Like every month, it was a new drink promotion. It'd be like $1 rum and coke, $1 Long Island iced tea. So it was just like they made no pretenses about what it is that they offered at their establishment, and I salute them for that.
And if you're gonna say Long Island, you have to say it in one word, like a New Yorker. Long Island.
There you go.
That's how New Yorkers say it. Long Island.
I'm just now picturing like a fucking little speech class being delivered by Eddie Kingston. He's got like the little stick and he's pointing at the blackboard. Long Island, partner.
It's one fucking word.
Never use commas, bro.
I just realized Eddie Kingston, when he talks and gets angry like that, reminds me of Armand Assante when he played John Gotti. Did you ever see that movie, the Gotti with him? Not the one with Travolta.
Right, no. Yeah, I think I've seen that before.
Oh, what a great movie. What a great fucking movie. All right, I do have this loaded up. Let me hit play here and see. Gargano is talking. I don't know. Again, I don't know. Let's see what we get here. Oh, volume.
Which means we need a new NXT champion, a new face of this brand. And we don't need the big, mean-looking, angry-faced, leather jacket-wearing doomsday guy. No, we don't need him. We need the handsome, hard-working, headband-wearing, respectable family man. We need me.
All right, let me see here. Where's Pete?
The 57 days.
Where's
He
Pete?
interrupts like about halfway through.
Yeah, I'm moving through here.
My worst day.
Here we go. No reason to wait.
You must be mad if you think you're number one contender over me.
You must be mad if you think you're number one contender over me, Smark.
If you think.
Okay.
F-I-N-K. What are you from Northern Maddingshire? Are you Welsh? Are you Welsh, lad? What is wrong with you?
Let's see how much of this I can understand, because I have a hard time with hearing these. I told you when Nikki Cross comes up, I have to really concentrate. It's also because I'm also thinking of motorboating her. But anyway.
Shut up.
Shut up, he said.
No, stop. I know what he's trying to do. I know what they're trying to do. They're trying to provoke me. They're trying to start chaos. No, you're not provoked. You are not provoked. There is a new way to do things around here. And we do not partake in hijinks or shenanigans anymore. We are law-abiding citizens. There are rules for a reason, Peter.
Peter?
We are good people. We are good people. So if you want to fight, you are not going to get it from us. I'm going to put the microphone down gently now.
Well, this is impressive from Johnny Gargano. Look, he is playing the grown-up now. He's falling in.
I am watching you.
Oh, he might not want to watch him.
Okay, looks like that was it. You needed me to translate that for you, Smark?
I think you did. I kind of get some of it. He wants him to shut up. T-U-P.
Yes, shut up. 2 words.
So, like, he wants to close his Tupperware to make sure that, his bread doesn't go bad or whatever.
Well, I mean, Tupperware is convenient. It is inexpensive, and it can really save you money in the long run while it keeps your food fresh. I got to be honest, my mom.
I'll take 8.
My mom used to do those Tupperware parties back when I was a kid in the 80s.
Were those exactly what they were? Like exactly what they sounded like, or was it? Because I always thought that was like, just, like it had other connotations. I'm not even talking about like dirty.
No, they were.
Was it like just an excuse for people to like get together and get drunk, or was it just like actual thing?
Well, my mom has never had a drink of alcohol in her life. Number one. Makes you wonder what happened to me. But I remember I would stand down there and she was literally trying to sell Tupperware. My mom always did little side jobs until she had many real jobs. But she actually had little Tupperware parties and did like she did that Mary Kay stuff for a very, very short time. But Tupperware was probably one of the first that I remember pyramid schemes out there that was doing the, multi-tier marketing is what they called it back, is what it turned into. But they were one of the first ones to do that. And that's what Tupperware parties were for, which you sell Tupperware. And you would sell them kits and all kinds of stuff. And my dad was doing well, but my mom just felt like she needed to do something to keep herself busy. So that's what she was doing.
And there you go.
There you go. So it was basically just multi-tier marketing, like Mary Kay, like Amway. A lot of companies out there now are doing that. My wife gets suckered into those all the time, and she just doesn't stick with it. And she doesn't understand like those makeup companies. There was one she was doing called Arbonne. That was the name of it, Arbonne. And she was doing it, going at it, and she wasn't doing bad. But once you start doing decent, then they go in for the kill. Okay, well, what you need to do now is buy the $2,000 package. And then you'll have your own business. What my wife doesn't realize is a lot of these ladies that do these businesses are rich. They have nothing to do. They're looking to feel like they're contributing to the millions their husbands bring in a year. They're, what was that Eddie Murphy joke? What was he doing it on Johnny Carson? Johnny Carson makes like $100 million a year, and she's like, "Here's $100 million and $5." Just adding a little bit to it, and $5. That's basically what a lot of those women do. They're just rich women, and they have a network. They've got the country club. They've got this. They've got that. They've got the PTA. And me and my wife just don't really go make friends, dude. We're just not the friendly types. But I don't know. I mean, we are, but it's just, I don't know.
That is something like I'm right there with you on that point, because like it seems like as you get older, it becomes even harder to like find friends or make new friends, because everybody that you knew previously, like they're on their own shit. They got their own families to take care of, their own relationships, marriages, things like that. So it seems like it would definitely be a lot harder to sort of maintain relationships, build new relationships, that kind of thing.
Yeah, and and you're right. The older you get, the tougher it does get. I mean, I moved here at 32 years old, and I basically fell into what I've got now. The kids, the girl, the wife. I just kind of all fell into place within a year, and I was like, wow, my head's spinning, but never had time to make friends. All her friends are way out in East Texas. Mine are all back in Florida. I still talk to those guys every now and then, but I mean, that's, again, I've said before, it's why I do this. It's why I love doing this. This is my time to talk to everyone who listens to this show. You guys are my friends. That's just the way it is.
Same here.
My mom was trying to talk me out of doing this. Why do you do that? It's a waste of time, waste of this. You have to spend money on it to do this. And I'm like, I don't think you understand. Without it, I got nobody. I got nothing. I'm a shell without doing this. So I don't know. But it does get tough. But we luckily, we're in a duplex now, so we're not going to have a choice but to be friendly with our neighbors. Our neighbors are a young couple. We went there Sunday, and they were out there barbecuing with music playing, and I smelled weed.
Very good.
And it wasn't me smoking it. So we're going to be good there. But they're a young couple, and we got another young couple on the other side of us, so they're more our age than the other one. But my wife jumped on Facebook and made and already has a friend right down the road from us. So maybe this will be a different thing, because we're in a really tight neighborhood here. So
that can be good and bad as somebody who has been in one of those kind of neighborhoods before.
The problem in this neighborhood is we have an alley. Our driveway isn't in the front. Our driveway and our garage isn't in the front of the house. It's in the back of the house. So really, we never go out front. And I live off of not a main road, but a busy road, So I don't let my kids go out front and play. Not very much. Every now and then they do, but very rarely. My kids just, my neighbors are awesome. Both my neighbors on both sides, they're both awesome people, but I don't know them very well. Actually, my neighbors on the left side of me, I know pretty well. Like I said, I took their daughter. I took two of their daughters to prom in the limo. So I know them well, but the people on the other side of me, they're cool. They used to bring me vodka, but they don't anymore.
It's a good way to make friends.
She would go to the store and just bring vodka. It's like, oh, thank you. That's where she brought me 2 little skull heads one night. Middle of a show, she did it.
Nice.
Heard a knock on the door, went and checked it, and there she was. And I drank those. Warm as hell. I drank those. But it does get tough, man. The older you get, it just gets tougher. And, you end up at work, and you're like, do I really want to, the older you get, you also wonder, do you want to mix work and friends?
Right.
And I don't really do that anymore.
Well, that also becomes a thing of they're your friends. It's sort of based on the idea that they're your friends so long as you have that same job.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't like the people at work following me on Facebook. Then they know I'm on Facebook. They know what I'm doing. They know what I'm commenting on. I don't like that. I have like 2 people. I mean, besides my father, obviously, who I do work with still. I have like one other person from there on Facebook, and it's a guy who he's lazier than me. So it's like, it doesn't matter. But I don't know, man. It's just, it's a very tough thing. But, you make it work. I mean, I got my family. I got, my kids, my wife, and I do go see, on Father's Day, I went and saw my family, and luckily they're here. My sister didn't go, but I don't know, man. It's, it does get tough. But, anyway, I guess we can go ahead and wrap this bad boy up before I start getting sad here, missing my friends more.
Friends? How many of us have them?
Easy Houdini.
Well, the freaks come out at night, Bugs.
Well, of course they do. Of course they do. I do know that. You were probably shocked I knew who that was.
I felt like it could have gone either way. You could have been surprised that I was referencing them, and I could have been surprised that you got the reference. Like, both are plausible that we could have been at a disconnect.
I liked 80s. I like the 80s rap and stuff like that. I do. It was pretty good shit back then, man. It just changed. It just all turned into a very different genre. Mid-90s, I would say. Mid to late 90s, it just turned into a different genre. And truthfully, man, I stopped listening to music anyway right around that time. Got into talk radio, listening to a lot of talk radio, which is another reason I wanted to do something like this. I've always been told I should do talk radio. I have a great voice for it, is what I was always told. So here I am doing what I've always been told I should do, and I love doing this with you guys. So there you go. On that note, I guess we will go ahead and wrap this bad boy up, which means I should probably pull up the plugs. There you go. High marks. Cheeseman, Mojo, and G-Wiz, you know you want to be listening. When are you going to listen? 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, Sunday nights. That's when you're going to listen. Where are you going to listen? You are going to go right to Mixler.com/Metal Network. That's right. There's 2 T's in Mitt. Do not forget to put in the extra T. Check them out right over there. Once again, Mixer.com/Metal Network. 8:30 p.m. Eastern Times. The high marks. And, of course, once again, the Bobby Anthem, the Bobby Blades, the Inhuman Experience. Check out the Inhumans over there on all the usual podcast platforms. Binge listen. Trust me. You want to do it. And, of course, Everything Unscripted Wrestling Podcast. Find them on all the usual podcast platforms and on Blog Talk Radio. And Stephen Milan, he's out there sharing the show and reviewing films on Letterboxd, BOXD.com/Stephen Milan, 2 L's in Milan. And, of course, you guys know where to get us. You can follow us on Stitcher, iHeart, Spotify, Anchor, YouTube, TuneIn, Player FM, anywhere else you get podcasts. Excuse me. Go for it, Smark. Jesus.
Yes, sir. Mondays 8:30 on the Metal Mint Podcast Network, on the Mixed League Machine, G's on Sports with the G's, man. Sundays 10:30 a.m. The Mo Dirk City Machine Guns with Mojo and with Dirk, and last but never in a million years ever least are our friends at Planet Raconteur. So Planet Raconteur podcast, Bobby Anthem, Papa Dave Sincere, and Yuck Nasty. Season 1 is complete. Season 2 is underway. Be sure to subscribe so that you can access all of it, all the time, anytime. There's never a bad time for one Bobby Anthem. So you want to listen now, and you can find them wherever you get your podcasts.
There you go. All right. Thank everybody for tuning in. Appreciate that. Chat room, thank you all for stopping by. I know it's kind of scarce right now, but they all are hearing us wrapping up. Smart, appreciate you kind of filling in for what I missed over the week. Again, not going to be here Friday. I got to get some work done, and I got to tell you all the truth. Next Wednesday, that's my last day in this house. If we're moved, that's a different story. I don't know. I might be without a computer that night. So I got to tell you, I'm not sure about Wednesday. Fingers crossed. I'd like to, at minimum, come on and do another, at least a news show. So we will get that figured out. But Friday, 100%, we're going to go ahead and take a break. I'm going to get packed up, see what I can get done over the weekend to get this computer over there by Wednesday, so we can go ahead and knock out a show, Smark. But yeah, definitely appreciate you covering me on what I missed. And that's it. So appreciate it, everybody. We will be back when we're back. Stay tuned. Appreciate it. See ya.
Adios.
Take your drunken ass home. It's all right. If you don't know what to do with yourself, take your drunken ass.